Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the XboxEra Podcast. I'm Sikamikanico and I am joined, as per usual, by Mediocre Ed. Thanks, Jez. And
Jez
Figments.
And you asked.
There you go, Randall Thor. Your request is complete. I have referred to the artist previously known as Shpeshal Ed as Mediocre Ed going forward. That is his name. How are you doing, guys? It's been a while since we've been able to record at full fidelity. We're back.
It feels like it's been ages since the last episode. It's only been a couple of weeks, but it feels like it's been a long time.
It feels like it's been forever. And yet, we're back, we're here. It's only been 2 weeks since we did the live show for the...
It's technically the normal time frame.
Yeah, but we're here. It's good to be back. As people can see, I've moved locations once again. I've opted to blur my background this episode, even though it doesn't always like my headphones, because I'm still living in a building site, but it's online and it's good to go, so we should be hunky-dory going forward. It's been a busy couple of weeks, right? There's a lot to talk about, surprisingly, even though we did the live show and not much has happened, but a lot has happened at the same time. But before we dive into any of that, you guys been playing any video games lately? Don't know about that. Don't know. Has anyone been playing anything?
Games?
Never heard of it.
No, dude. All I do is argue about games. That's my living.
What have I been playing? The usual stuff. Rocket League. Got back a little bit into Modern Warfare because I sort of jumped out for a while. Still been playing a little bit of Lunchapalooza for the review and to get some footage for it. I tried a demo for a Lunchapalooza competitor called Cake Smash. I don't know if I'll mention that in the review or not. But
is there an interesting comparison to be made there?
Well, yeah, it's funny. They're both coming out at similar times, and they're both very, very similar games. They're like Power Stone with food.
Is this basically a bit like when the movie industry releases films like Armageddon and Deep Impact within the same sort of 6 month period?
It's exactly like that. Been playing a bit of Luigi's Mansion with the little one. What else? God, I don't even know if I can think of anything else, to be honest. Maybe I have, but I can't think of it immediately off the top of my head. So yeah, that's about it. We've been busy.
We have been busy. I have actually managed to get some... It sounds crazy in the current context of the world I'm living in right now. I actually managed to get some video games in this week.
Oh, did you?
I did, and I've been playing the excellent Carry On PC Game Pass.
I heard about that game.
I hear good things.
It's on console Game Pass as well. If you're a fan of Metroidvanias and body horror gore, I would wholeheartedly recommend it thus far. I am probably going to do a little review for XboxEra because I'm really enjoying it, and it's rare nowadays for a game to be like, play me. And I've got myself daydreaming when doing building work, thinking, I really wish I could play this game some more. So I've spent about maybe an hour and a half with it thus far, and it's cool. It's a very nifty concept, and I'd love to see more. So I'll keep playing and see how it goes. What about you, Figments? Anything exciting, interesting on your games list?
A lot of Minecraft.
Lot of Minecraft.
Not Bedrock, not the Xbox version, the PC Java edition. Because, well, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I think 2018, Mojang promised the super duper graphics pack for Xbox Series X with the cool water and light shaders.
1X?
And the 1X, yeah. It was going to have HDR. It was going to have all these fancy effects. It was going to have a bunch of stuff. I think even a high-resolution texture pack. But that was canceled about 6 months after it's announced because they cited performance problems getting it to run well on the 1X and even the Series X for that matter. But not the Series X, the 1S, my bad. And it's disappointing. So, like, once again, modders have to do what companies won't do at all. And I've been running the Java edition of Minecraft with a shader called Project Luma, and oh my god, is that game just so gorgeous when it actually has like proper graphical effects. Like the water is actually reflective now. It's crystal clear. You can like the sky, the clouds in the sky actually look like clouds, not just blocks.
I have to admit, I've been very impressed with what they've shown of the RTX version. Of Minecraft.
Yeah,
like it
but
really
it's sad that it had to. It's sad that it had to come in an RTX update when, like I said earlier, modders have been doing this stuff to Minecraft for years. You know, like, and Microsoft and Mojang, mostly Mojang, couldn't figure out a way to get that to work on at least the One X, which is kind of weird considering how at least halfway decent that console is. But my God, when you see just how good Minecraft can look with like the light, the shader I'm using is the light just filters through the trees, so you can see God rays through it. Oh my God, lights actually feel dynamic and reactive to the environment now, and like it looks creepier at night because everything's so much darker.
Well, that is the benefit of a proper lighting system. I don't know. I think they're obviously beholden to make sure that performance is correct and applicable across the board for all of their players. So it's fair.
I get that, I really do. I just wish they could have done it. You know.
Yeah.
At least hopefully we'll see the RTX update on the Series X. So we'll get those nice, tasty shaders then.
Yep.
But it's sad that it had to come in a ray tracing update and not just generally available shaders for everyone, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Biggest piece of news this week that I think we'll probably kick things off with, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you've probably noticed that logo right there. We launched a forum. Which was a difficult thing to try and progress in the middle of doing a house build. The extra stress was fun, but we pulled it off. We launched Tuesday this week. It's Sunday. No,
something
Saturday
like
today.
that.
Yeah, about Tuesday, I think.
We were kind of forced into a slightly earlier launch than originally planned. So just to give everyone a preamble on this, we obviously originally came from XboxEra. And the whole reason the podcast exists, the whole reason the website exists, is that we found and we felt that the Xbox community as a whole was pretty underserved when it came to decent conversation, when it came to coverage, when it came to informed conversation. And that was frustrating. And you know, we've been kicking around for nearly a year and a half now. No, just over a year. Not a year and a half.
No.
What am I saying?
Oh yeah, a little over a year.
Little
like
over
the
a
website
year.
didn't exist
13
until,
months.
13 months.
The website didn't exist until like October, I think.
Yeah.
Of last year.
Yeah, the website. I think the website went live.
August.
The
The podcast started July last year.
Yeah.
The thing
website
that's been
didn't go
around
live
for a
until
while. The thing that's been around for a while is the original Discord that it all grew from.
The now infamous taking over
Yes,
Illuminati style.
Yeah, the Xbox Illuminati
the one-
that controls, like, we made the PlayStation 5 36 CU. That was us.
Yep.
That wasn't Mark Cerny. That was us.
Yeah, we designed it.
Yep. We have a direct line to Sony's hardware department.
Yeah.
And told them
If you
exactly
believe
what
the-
we needed
if you-
out of that machine.
If you believe the rumors, it was all us. We did it all.
I love it. But yeah, so we've been kicking around for about a year. As of around the May showcase, we started getting, and we still get to a degree, regular DMs from community members from XboxEra and other Xbox focused communities. Hey, can I get into the Discord? Can I do this? Can I do that? Why aren't you letting people in? And it felt a bit elitist to be like, no, you may not come in, you peasant. And that's not our style. But the real reason behind it, and I'm sure Ed can talk to a bit of this, is Discords are really horrible and hard to moderate because the conversation is very, very quick. And we've been victimized where we've had fake screenshots made, things taken out of context, where we've seen someone say something that's not cool, and we've immediately banned them. But the screenshot that's released will just show the thing they said that's not cool, as if we've just let them carry on and that we're okay with it. And we didn't want to let more people in because it's an impossible task. So the conversation started around having a forum. And as of just after the Xbox Live July showcase, we saw that conversation explode because of the concern trolling on other forums and communities, and how a lot of Xbox folks, you can call it persecution complex if you want, if you're a fan of the other side of the pond, but it's just not particularly fun to talk about this platform on a lot of websites. So we rolled something out. We put it into closed beta where we had a lot of our staff team and some members of the Discord come in and play around with the tool, and we sort of built it off the cuff. Now, we were going to launch closed beta like Monday coming, but someone named Tim Dog, I'm sure you might have heard of him if you are a fan of Xbox and you're on Twitter at any point, thought he'd just tweet it out.
A little bit early.
Tim. He thought he'd just tell the whole world.
Nobody told you to do that, and for good reason.
And suffice to say, we suddenly started getting hammered with requests and can I join? At that point in time, we had an invite code system only to allow people in so we could control it. So we rallied as a kind of admin team, had a conversation internally about how ready we were, and thought, okay, yeah, we want to test our back end and see if the server holds up. Let's open the floodgates. So we did on Tuesday, and we're just shy of 1,000 members in less than a week.
we're just over 900 at the moment, which I admit, like, I put my hand up. As rare as it is that I'm wrong, when I am, I will fully own it. And yeah, I admit that I was initially opposed to the forum, because I am friends with some of the moderators on Rosetta, and they make me acutely aware of how much work is involved in moderating a forum that big. But I obviously didn't think our forum would be very big, to be honest. I thought, man, if we can have 100 members by the end of the first week, that'd be ace. And it hasn't even been a week and we're at almost 1,000. So that's really good. The response has been good. The atmosphere so far has really been pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the part that surprised me the most, and is probably the best thing, is the industry people that have jumped on almost straight away. A lot from Reset, some that aren't on Reset. Like James Shields from Microsoft joined, which was really cool. We reached out to him and he joined. Now, there is someone that joined the forum who I pestered into submission. He said he's okay with people knowing it's him, but I don't know if I want to mention him on the podcast. But you know what? Stop by the forum, search through our member list, and we do have a very special member of the forum.
Yeah.
And you will know who it is when you see it.
Yeah, he's probably the most identifiable member of the Xbox team.
Yeah, fans of this podcast and this platform will know who it is straight away. And I'm fairly confident that we might be the only, I don't want to use the word major because we're not major, but the only forum or known forum or whatever forum that has this gentleman as a member. I'm pretty confident, which...
What's
pretty happy about?
Yeah, it's an excellent thing, and what's more surprising about that is is as an admin, being able to just browse through and see what activity's like, and actually noticing that he's actually reading stuff.
Yeah,
he's actually reading stuff. So
he logs in and he browses.
But yeah, we've got a bunch.
He didn't just sign up and
ignore it as a courtesy.
He's actually logging in and viewing it.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it has been a tremendous week, and we've received a bunch of messages about the platform of software that we chose. Which, if you've not checked it out, we do have a video on this YouTube channel. There's an article on XboxEra at the moment. We went with a software that's 100% open source and free, called Discourse. It's a mobile first forum software, and I keep discovering really, really cool, nifty little features and things that other forums
still getting used
just
to
don't do.
I've been using Zenforo for such a long time. I used to be a moderator. I used to be a moderator on an Australian rules football forum, and I've been on that forum since 2007. So I've been using Zenforo and been used to Zenforo for over a decade now. So I'm still coming to grips with Discourse, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, if you're a dinosaur, you might struggle at first, and indeed I did. There was lots of back and forth, like, have I made the right decision? Thankfully, our art lead was very familiar with the software, and he kind of a massive, and I have to take this opportunity to say so.
Yeah, Pre-Drag.
Massive shout out to Pre-Drag for all of the assistance in getting it looking right, running right, working with me into the very early hours when we first put it up to be live and accessible, because I don't think without him it would have been as successful as it was. So massive kudos to him. So I guess the long and short of it, if you're an Xbox fan, if you want a place to discuss that is going to be free of the concern trolling, the toxicity of a lot of modern forums, and I'm not calling anyone out specifically, I'm just saying that we feel we will be the best place to discuss Xbox. One caveat to that is we don't only discuss Xbox. We love video games across all platforms. Nintendo.
It is a gaming forum first.
It's Xbox slanted because of
XboxEra is the brand now, so we can't not call it XboxEra.
True.
But it is a gaming forum first. Just you might hear a little bit more about Xbox than you normally would,
which is arguably just to balance things out. Okay, so. It's definitely been an adventure. Go and check it out. There'll be a link in the description below the YouTube video. If you're curious on some of the features, there is a bunch of user guides and other useful items with which you can get to grips with it a little bit. There's some really nifty stuff as well. There is an app on iOS and Android if you're doing mobile first. It's great to do it, and thank you to everybody that's messaged us, joined, followed us. I think we've just hit 3,000 followers on Twitter now as well.
Did we?
More or less. I'm just rounding it up. We're one away. All right. By the time I finish recording, we'll probably be there. I want to check. So yeah, it's just been.
No, we lost one.
What? God damn it! Just flip the desk.
We're at 2,998.
God damn it! Someone saw. Hey, they're about to hit 3,000. Quick, unfollow. If it was you, whoever you're watching, we hate you. It's been nuts. It's been nuts. But massive thank you to everybody that's just been so supportive, and we've had messages saying thank you and providing it. It's worth mentioning as well. Unlike a lot of other perhaps gated forum communities, we do not require you to have a non-free email address.
A paid email.
We may regret that decision in a month, 6 months, whatever.
I'm going to give it 6 days.
6 days. We may regret that decision, but you can authenticate and log in with Discord, with Gmail, with Facebook, with your Twitter. And it's got two-factor authentication as well, so make sure if you do join.
We were going to go for Microsoft account, but it didn't.
It's something that we're still looking at, and we'll see if we can tie it in. It's just getting a plug-in to do the right stuff. But it's early days, and there will still be wobbles. But yeah, come and help us build the best Xbox community on the internet, is my final sentence on the matter. Moving swiftly on. We did a live show for the July showcase, but it's been a couple of weeks. Maybe we should just regroup.
I mean, I know for me
our
it was
thoughts.
2 a.m, so I couldn't really take it all in properly and give my thoughts with the same clarity that I can now. Like
Sure.
the advantage that, time and hindsight has. We made new friends like Craig. And and looking back now, the show is basically what I expected, and what I warned people it would be. I said, I noticed a lot of people building it up in their heads, and to me it was a pretty strong show, even if Halo's demo let people down from a visual standpoint, which it did. I watched the live stream back. I watched our live stream, and I noticed that I think I did it consciously at the time, but I'm glad I did, because I was obviously watching it in 720 through the OBS window, so I couldn't tell if it looked great, didn't look that great, so I didn't really want to comment too much on the graphics. So I watched the 8-minute gameplay demo back again in 4K.
Yeah.
Have to admit, it probably showed the flaws even more. So, a lot of people were commenting on texture popping and stuff, which I actually didn't really notice watching it live.
Yeah.
But then watching it in 4K, it really showed the pop-in and the textures that weren't loading and all that sort of stuff. But visuals aside, I mean, I've always been strong on gameplay over graphics. Always have, my entire life. So gameplay-wise, I think it looked amazing. I was digging up old posts of mine from NeoGAF and from the earlier days of Reset, and it's like 343 have been spying on me. They have done literally everything I was asking for. I said I wanted them to go back to the CE style, more open world. I said I wouldn't mind RPG light upgrades. I think I've said that on the podcast before, and it looks like we're getting upgrades. There was an actual upgrade tab in the main menu. It's almost literally everything I wanted out of a new Halo. So, visuals be damned, even though I'm quietly confident the visuals will be improved.
Yeah.
And probably already are, as of even when that demo went live.
Yeah.
Will it look exactly like the trailers? I hope so. Because, I said before the show that I was really confident and downright certain that it would look as good as the trailers.
Yep.
And obviously that demo did not. But I will remain...
There were moments where you could see, the same texture work in play and so on. I agree that it probably... It's odd to me that it wasn't perhaps as polished as one would assume. But at the same time, for any developer in this current environment, I have to kind of try and be an adult about this and cut a little slack, right? We're all having to rethink how everybody works and builds these things. And building a game of that scope and size ready for a console launch is hard. But, I think now the bar is set here, so if they can get to launch and it's up here, everybody's a winner, baby. So
but
I'm
not
going
just
to
that,
worry
though.
too much.
We already know that, we've heard devs say it a lot. We've seen it on forums, Twitter. Most games come together late.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers how the Gears 4? The Gears 4 beta looked, and,
like May, and
really
then by September it was
visually
gorgeous.
Super rough, and then all of a sudden it was like a different product when it launched. Even that leaked footage of The Last of Us 2, that build was allegedly February. The game went gold 2-3 months later, and look what we got. So it's pretty clear that games do come together late. It doesn't guarantee anything, but we'll see how we go. Luckily for me, the gameplay looked incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely loved what I saw.
There were some really cool little things. To me, it looks like Halo 5 and Halo 3 got together in a bar one night, copulated and had a little.
You reckon?
Yeah, because it's got elements from Halo 5 that I understand why they kept, like clamber and sprint. But it's got rid of the smart link, smart scope. I don't know if it depends how into Halo you are, but there was very much a Halo 2, Halo 3 style black screen with the reticule in the middle for when you were aiming.
Yeah.
And
me,
it brought back equipment.
Like Halo CE and
well, perhaps
CE,
spiritually Halo CE, but I personally, visually, and I think this is the thing, they seem to have tried to stop making it this powerhouse of a visual art style, and this might lend to some of the conversation as to why it doesn't look, perhaps as detailed. But rather than have noisy art style, they've gone for a more stylized realism. I think that's the best way I can think to put it, where you've got textures that are, highest possible resolution, 4K textures, whatever. But they're not covered in grain and noise and detail. They are simplified somewhat in order to visually honour the legacy art style of the games. And that's something that I think has been well received from the announced trailer, etc., etc. It's just really how it's all going to come together in that final package. And I can't wait to play it, because there's so many little moments in that where I was like, the way some of the AI was responding, throwing down the shields, like the fact that equipment is going to be pick-upable again. And obviously the biggest news, we've had the rumour swirling for months about
for ages.
Halo doing something crazy and being free. And 343,
multiplayer.
It got leaked by some retailer, and they just came out and said, yeah, Halo's for everyone, we're making it free to play. Which is, and I don't know how that's going to be supported, whether that is, something Fortnite style or what, but I'm excited.
That would be the assumption. The assumption would be it'll be just like Warzone and Fortnite, like Call of Duty and Fortnite. There'll be a battle pass system.
All cosmetic-based, presumably. I wonder what else there's going to be. All cosmetic-based, presumably. So like armor styles and colours. And
they might just keep the rec packs as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Halo 5.
Yeah, I just wonder what else there's going to be to customise.
Or maybe make an amalgamation of the two.
As long as they bring back Reach levels of customization, which I think I've heard is on the cards,
that's good.
I'm all for.
Yeah, Reach did it pretty well like that.
Yeah, I think Reach probably did the best out of all the Halos.
But I think what that lends to even further is, we've said for a long time that we think multiplayer will go free on Xbox. Then that talk started really swirling around the same time as the Halo free multiplayer being announced. And then we started seeing 12-month golds being removed from the store.
Yeah, it's...
all this stuff started happening, and then we saw Xbox Live change to Xbox Online Services. And then they said, but we got nothing to talk about with gold at this time. Nothing's changing. Gonna say I find that hard to believe. And then the other day, all of a sudden, read it and started noticing that people were playing online for free.
Yeah, what a bad timing.
Oh, God, what a troll. Like, all of a sudden, so I tested it. Like, I was here, as you can see behind me. That's where I work every day. And I quickly turned on the Xbox and logged into my spare account and my daughter's account, because neither of those accounts have gold. And because my Xbox is set as my brother's. I do a console share thing with my brother, and my brother doesn't have gold. So I'm like, okay, so I'll just log into the spare account and try playing online. So I logged in and played Fortnite, played Rocket League, played all this stuff online, and I'm like, oh my God, gold, like it's Wednesday. Like it can't be a free weekend.
It's a free weekend. The weekend starts on Wednesday.
Or was it Thursday? Actually, it might have been Thursday Australian time. And I'm like, don't tell me they've done it. Like, you're kidding me. And then a few hours later, or half a day later, it was like, free weekend. That starts like on Thursday, but anyway.
Whatever.
I don't know. I still maintain that multiplayer has to go free. Like,
well, let's do that tangent. I think
it has to. It has to.
Here's my thoughts. And I saw Tom Warren took a beating on Resetera from folks like, oh, Tom, let me give you some free advice. Oh, bless him.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think is going to happen, right? So, and I think I've said this before, but I'll reiterate just in case. Is when I say Xbox Live Gold is going to go free, I need to make this super clear. I think Microsoft and by extension Phil, the ex-boss, is acutely aware that with their messaging of PC and Xbox being a platform, it is unfair and frankly not in line with the rest of their vision for gaming to charge one set of customers a fee for one thing that is free completely on the other platform.
It just makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It doesn't work. Now, when we say multiplayer is going through, that is exactly what we mean. So Xbox Live Gold is a service. It's not just... It used to be just for online, but it's turned into like a discounts program,
free games,
benefits,
party chat,
blah, 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 blah. I think what they'll do is they'll keep Gold in its name, in its as a discount program, and you can effectively become a higher tiered member of the Xbox Live online service.
They'll rejig it.
That is what I think. So I think I do, certainly at a bare minimum, I expect to see parity with other platforms in that if a game is free to play, it is free to play, not free to play, but you've got to have Xbox Live Gold, give us £60 a year or whatever, or $60.
Yeah, like it's just, and that's what I mean. To me, multiplayer going free for Halo is the sign that is happening.
Yeah, because it can't be a special treatment. Oh yeah, well, this first party, we can do that because you got to be fair to all your partners.
The other aspect is though, like, what business? Okay, so other than Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gold is still a free money maker for them. That is free money on the table. Like, no sensible business would give up that free moneymaker, even if there was another service like Game Pass to go with.
But I don't understand that argument, only because it just seems a little bit short-sighted and small picture to me. Yep. It's like they're not going to give up free money. If Xbox as an install base continues to shrink generation upon generation, guess what's also going to shrink with it? Gold subscribers.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this idea that they're going to give up money. Have you ever heard the saying you got to spend money to make money? Like the short-term pain
and
for long-term gain.
And profit motive isn't everything. There are companies that exist that only chase after market share and not revenue, like Amazon.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, Gold has been around for 3 generations at this point. It's going into the 4th generation.
Yeah.
It is so ingrained in how an Xbox console player plays games that, losing the requirement would be great for them. But most of them are just fine paying $60 a year and getting it over with.
Okay, but
not what it's about, though.
So say you're an Xbox Live Gold subscriber, and in August, whenever they do this show, Microsoft announced that we're changing how Xbox Live Gold works. All existing Xbox Live Gold subscriptions will be converted to Game Pass automatically. Auto renewal will be switched off so that consumers aren't tricked into paying an additional fee monthly, but it will be converted. It's a massive bump to the Game Pass subscriber base, which is their key focus. If you noticed the July show, as much as we saw lots of cool new stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more about it then after this tangent, it was also a Game Pass is everything to Microsoft right now. It is the growth platform for them. It is the differentiator comparatively to their peers.
What you need to understand is, so right now there are people out there right now that will go out to buy a PlayStation 4 purely to play Fortnite.
True.
Or Call of Duty Warzone. Because guess what? They don't have to pay any extra. They buy their PlayStation 4, plug it in, download Fortnite, and away they go. They can't do that on Xbox. They have to buy the console, then they have to pay for gold as well before being able to play Fortnite.
Yeah. And that's not right.
So now, let's just assume for a second Lockhart is still happening. We're now in bloody August and we still haven't heard anything. If you have free multiplayer, all of a sudden you're giving Lockhart a chance to become the Fortnite box.
Yeah.
It's this cheap little $299 or $249 box, free multiplayer, and you take this box home and you can play Call of Duty Warzone on it, you can play Fortnite on it, and you can play Halo multiplayer on it for free. All of a sudden, that's a way to get more people into the ecosystem. And okay, you've lost the gold money, but you might be potentially gaining a crap load of Game Pass money. And you're going to have people buying new controllers, and you're going to have people buying games, and you're going to have people on xCloud when they're away and they want to keep playing. Like, you got to think bigger picture than, oh my God, we're going to lose gold. And the funny thing is, people are making a lot of assumptions about how many gold subscribers there are. When was the last time Microsoft actually told us how many there were? It's been a long, long time. They told us how many Game Pass subscribers they have. We know they have minimum 10 million.
Yep.
And remember, a lot of those would be gold conversions. So I don't know if there's... And like, how many people were subscribing to gold on a monthly basis? It'd be hardly anyone. Like, all this perceived money people think Microsoft's going to lose, that works under the assumption that people were subbing to gold monthly. They weren't. They've made their money from gold. Most people are on 1 or 2 year golds. They're not on monthly ones.
Yeah, which is why I think that something like a conversion, an automatic conversion, and just be like, this is how we're operating now. We won't turn... I would be annoyed if they did it and left auto-renewal on, because I think that's underhanded and it's the wrong message.
It would be a bit
send.
scummy.
It would be a bit scummy
to do.
But I just don't see a world in where this doesn't happen. And, you know, I'm all for being wrong, all right? It happens plenty of times for me, but it just doesn't make sense in their messaging, in their platform. Gold is an antiquated, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, antiquated.
It's an irrelevant thing now. And I think it's something they should do, definitely. And
all this ignores the fact that one thing very different from last generation is that they're not coming from a position of strength. Like, you know, the 360 kicked ass. The Xbox One did not. Like, they're coming from way behind now. Like, they need something to get back in the game, and free multiplayer to me is it. Like,
I don't think lifting the gold requirement is going to really bring more people to the platform.
Really?
I think more and better games are going to bring more people to the platform.
Well, yeah, that's
because
also
people
part
are
of
eating
it.
the crap. People are eating the crap out of PlayStation exclusives left and right, and you still have to play you still have to pay for PS Plus for online multiplayer. They don't care.
Yeah,
they just want the games.
Then you could argue that a lot of PlayStation exclusive don't have a multiplayer component.
Sure, but you could also just play the campaign of Halo Infinite and not have to care about the multiplayer.
True. But I would argue, I believe that Microsoft is going to be the multiplayer box.
You don't think there's a chance that a Lockhart could become a second console for a lot of people because it's got free multiplayer?
No. I don't think people care about free multiplayer.
Okay. I'd argue otherwise.
We'll agree to disagree.
There.
It's a great conversation. You know, watchers, listeners, let us know in the comments what you think, whether it should or shouldn't. Love to read some of the arguments and opinions out there. Before we dive into other things, any other games that you wanted to mention? I noticed, Nick, you chose a rather special piece of artwork for the background for today's podcast. That trailer was awesome. Something else, wasn't it? Visually?
God damn, that game. And I'm so glad they have seemingly ditched Xbox One.
Yeah.
For that game.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to allow it to really shine. If that trailer is indicative of what we're going to see, at least visually, because, you know, even Rare came out and said something that made it seem like they don't really know what the game is yet.
Well, they haven't told us. That was the most frustrating thing about the trailer. Beautiful.
Yeah.
What is it? What am I doing? And they did this with Sea of Thieves as well. Like, yeah, okay, I'm a pirate. I can do pirate battles. What else? You know, like, okay, I'm in a beautiful forest and I can walk around with friends. What else? You know, like, tell us. I don't understand.
Honestly, though, with how that game looks, I'm not even sure I'd care if the whole game is just you walking through a forest, looking at animals and patting them. Like, it just looks that good that I don't think it matters all that much. Like, it's just...
It is.
That is one of the most stunning
every single
things
thing. Like, I still go back and rewatch the new trailer sometimes.
Yeah, so do I.
And it's breathtaking. Just the amount of like aesthetic cohesion that the game has. Nothing looks out of place. Everything looks beautiful.
It's just
it's
I feel like that's a lot of rare learning lessons from Sea of Thieves too, because Sea of Thieves is a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Where it's aesthetically and design wise consistent. And you don't really see that a lot in big open world games, you know? So props to them for sticking to their guns and making something that looks absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to play that.
I've seen.
I
can't wait to play that.
I want to reach out and see if I can get Louise O'Connor to either jump on the forums or join this podcast at some point in the near to not so near future. To have a chat about Everwild and some of its inspiration. Perhaps once we know a little bit more about it, they might be a bit more willing to do so. But it is visually one of the most beautiful things to watch in motion. I can't wait. I can't wait to understand more about it.
Yeah, no.
Other big surprises for me that kind of like now I've had some time to reflect on it and really sink into it. I really, really liked the reveal for Stalker 2. I thought that was pretty cool.
I haven't played the first one.
It's a bit of a legendary title in the PC world, certainly.
I know of it, just never played it.
And I really, really also want to see more from Forza Motorsport, if only just to gawk at it, because that trailer was in engine. Yeah, okay, I've seen in engine trailers before that look phenomenal, but I give me something else, because even. You know, there's a difference between photo mode and actually what I play, you know.
And edited GIFs?
Yeah, that too. It's a GIF, though.
Wait, no.
Yeah, it is.
It's
no,
GIF.
I don't care what the creator of the GIF says.
The creator said
wrong.
GIF.
No.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
I don't know. Well, again,
Tangent.
That's another game that seems to have ditched Xbox One. Forza Motorsport, which is good. And, you know, as Charisma told us on the podcast, like, I'd say Forza was very specifically chosen in terms of that. You know, we talked about how there was a first-party game delayed to make sure Halo gets out on time. We said that was Forza. That Forza team, Turn 10, is easily Microsoft's most efficient studio. Like, there is a reason they chose Forza, and that's because they know that if they need to, Forza can just be done. Like that. Like, there are people already I've seen speculating on our forum. It's weird to say that, but on our forum and stuff like that.
It's good to say that.
That they think it might be a 2022 game. Nah. Forza Motorsport will be coming out next year.
Yeah, I would imagine as well. I would imagine something like March. If I was a betting man, I would imagine March.
Oh, I don't know about that early, but I have zero doubt it's a 2021 game.
Yeah.
Like, even if they give them a little bit of extra polish time and release it in the fall, so they have a big fall exclusive. I hate saying fall because I'm not American, but whatever. I just think it'll definitely be next year for some motorsport, and it'll be good.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool that it's a platform.
Anything else that you guys wanted to quickly touch on from the showcase?
The Gunk looked cool. Didn't really get a chance to talk about it.
It did. There was. It's interesting. I saw, and it's not a disparaging remark to a friend of mine who was chatting on our personal WhatsApp group, and he was like, "There's a planet. There's Gunk cleaning up. What a rubbish game." And I was just like, man, like you could devolve any game down to sounding like a rubbish game. I don't know. I found that comment a bit odd. Sorry, Goldhawk, disagree with you, buddy.
A bit reductive.
I think it looked pretty interesting. Like,
yeah, I thought it looked really cool. And that dev did get a little bit of... I don't know if they got in hot water, but I know Rosetta had a problem with... The dev came out and said, yep, we're exclusive to Xbox because Xbox is more powerful. and I mean, look, I understand taking people at their word, but the game, I believe, is coming out on Xbox One.
yeah.
So I'm not
medium?
sure. No.
Which one?
Gunk. The
Sorry.
Gunk.
Gunk?
What it
Okay.
is. I think that's coming out on Xbox One. So they sort of undid their own comment there.
Yeah.
Because you can't really say we chose Xbox because Xbox is more powerful when Xbox has the weakest console of the group.
Yeah.
Between base PS4, base Xbox One, Series X, Pro, One X, PlayStation 5, Xbox has the weakest and the strongest. So you can't really say we chose Xbox because it's more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, let's be real. It was maybe a money hat. So,
Yeah.
you know, both of them have it. There's plenty of console launch exclusives on Xbox and plenty of timed exclusives on PlayStation, as we've seen.
We have seen. Well,
as we've been saying for a long, long time on this podcast, Sony is in money hat mode, and we are seeing that in spades right now.
yeah. I suppose that's
there's
as
more
good
to
a
come.
time as any to switch
there's more to
gears and
come.
let's talk about
Don't worry about that.
money hats and I guess Sony's state of play. I haven't watched Sony's state of play. I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, neither do I. It finished just as I woke up that morning, and saw a brief rundown on what was shown, and I was like, I don't know if the list didn't do anything to make me want to log on to YouTube and watch it all. I've never been a Crash Bandicoot fan myself.
It passed me by as a kid.
Yeah.
It passed me by.
Just going over that list. But, I mean, I thought it was odd that it was... I say odd, but, you know, one thing Sony's done better than Microsoft is manage expectations and set them better. You know, they were very clear that it was a PlayStation 4 state of play. With the sprinkling of PS5, which is what Microsoft should have done in May.
Yeah, it was kind of like their May show, isn't it?
We said it. We said it back then. We said they should have just said, here's what we're doing with our third-party partners on Xbox One with some Series X upgrades. And Sony did exactly that, which, you know, props to them. They know how to manage expectations properly. Now, there were people that still cracked it, but that's the internet. Sort of like Nintendo Directs. Like Nintendo will say, we are doing a tiny Direct with some third-party and indie stuff, and then all of a sudden you see speculation. Oh my God, they're going to show Smash Brothers 73, and they're going to show the next Mario game, and they're going to show Zelda 4, and it's like, you know, if they've come out publicly and set the expectations properly, then you don't really have a leg to stand on in terms of cracking it.
No.
And I thought Sony did a good job with that.
Yeah, they definitely have. I think they've done a pretty good job all round. I was still surprised. I know I said last podcast that I still thought Microsoft were going to drop the Lockhart bombshell in the July show, but they didn't. But then again, I guess they said that they were just doing games and no hardware, so I can't really.
I think both Sony and Microsoft make the same mistake of overhyping basically nothing. So I don't really think Sony did it better. Like the state of play in June was pitched as the future of next gen or something, like the future of gaming.
Yeah.
And all it was
play. It wasn't a state of play. It was just the.
Wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a state of play. It was
state of play. Are you talking about then?
No, the June one. The one in June was like their E3 replacement. The one where there was Horizon and we saw Ratchet and all that sort of stuff. That wasn't a state of play.
Yeah, that was their big show.
Yeah, that was like their big thing.
Then are you comparing the May event and the July event to states of play for Xbox? Because they weren't built.
So we were saying that this state of play that's just happened is the
state of
equivalent
play
to
that just happened.
Microsoft's May event
is to me is more aligned with Microsoft's Inside Xbox in May.
Yeah.
And it was Sony's June thing versus Microsoft's July thing, which again I think were pretty much on par.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them build themselves as like visions of next gen, whatever, and it was all crap we could
both
get this gen.
Yeah, true. Sony did do that. They talked about the future of gaming and then showed a bunch of stuff that could easily be on PS4.
And the only game that was only possible on PS5 was Ratchet and Clank, pretty much. So much like how Medium is pretty much the only game that's possible on Series X. So
yeah, I have to admit, like I will admit that I was a bit confused because everything they kept showing with the Medium was that split screen thing.
Yeah,
they've actually patented that technology.
Okay, the other thing that I don't understand is, well, I can see how the SSD tech could come into play with the different dimensions and stuff, but the Medium's tech, like specifically, doesn't really like seem all that innovative to me, because Destiny 2 does the same thing already on current gen consoles.
Titanfall 2 had a whole level based on that.
So, like, because there's a strike, which is basically like a very difficult mission, 3-man mission in Destiny 2, where you constantly go in and out of 2 different dimensions the entire time, and they both look like they're both relatively within similar areas, but there's very different aesthetic changes between the two. I don't think it's like impossible to do what the Medium is doing on current gen, because other games have already been doing, because all it's doing is replacing current locations with an alternate, darker version of those current locations.
Well, you could argue that it's just like a texture change.
Yeah,
I think
so.
Before we say that, we haven't really had that fully explained and shown yet.
True, we haven't. Yeah, you're right. We haven't.
No, but with the Medium though, it's still the existing place with a different look and some assets here and there.
It's not just that. You're controlling 2 protagonists at once. So
yeah, but that's not difficult to do.
Both game worlds are rendered simultaneously.
Okay, well, I'm gonna retract that statement. It's not difficult to do relative to what other developers have already done on current generation consoles.
No. I think what Figments is saying is that it's not something that requires next gen hardware.
Yeah.
So Ratchet, what they were doing in Ratchet was an entirely separate planet. For anyone who's played Ratchet and Clank, you go to different planets, which are all completely different to each other.
Yeah.
So what you were seeing in Ratchet and Clank was transporting through dimensions, through limbo, and then all of a sudden you're appearing in a completely different world altogether.
Yeah. Near instantly, too.
Yeah, near instantly. There was that 1 or 2 second load mask where you were floating through limbo. But my God, if that's what we have to, if that's the sacrifice, then I'm more than fine with that. So that was where we were seeing the SSD in action. With the Medium, the dual world thing, I don't think that's the SSD in action. I think that's more a RAM thing, because Titanfall 2 does that now. So there's an entire level in Titanfall 2 where you walk in and it's like almost like a post. There's a post-apocalyptic part of it, and then you've got your special watch on, and you go boop, and it transports back in time to before everything happened.
Yeah.
The same level, and you're just switching between the times, and you can do it at an instant. Yeah, and that's on current gen hardware.
True.
Yeah,
I'd argue though that
Destiny 2 has the whole Ascendant Realm stuff too, where you go in and out of that, and it's basically a similar situation.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see how deep it goes, the systems.
Yeah.
Because all of those instances, apart from Ratchet and Clank, that you described, is is a texture swap. So your character stays in the same place, the screen wipes in some form, and you're in the same place, but it's in a different textured environment, whatever. It sounds to me like I can go over here, but I can also go over here, and when I swap, I can be... I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how it's all going to play out.
And that this is I feel like we can come off, we're coming off a bit like skeptical of what Bloober Team has been able to do. I'm sure it's a technical achievement, and honestly, like, especially with regards to how the game is set up, I'm really excited to play the Medium once I get my Series X.
Yeah.
But as I said, it doesn't seem, from what we know and understand, that it is something impossible to achieve on current generation.
No.
It doesn't seem like that at all.
I'd be interested to get one of the guys from Bloober on and see if we can have a little chit chat about the medium.
I would love to talk with one of the technical guys to see if just have an in-depth discussion about what are they doing that's special to the medium that would require Series X when other games have done similar locations with palette swaps, essentially.
Whilst we're on the subject of the medium and technology, there was a bit of drama this week, possibly caused by us. Sorry, Bloober team. One of our forum members on the XboxEra forums, he posted, I think it was BSig, he posted, hey, I've just looking on Xbox.com and I've seen that they've stripped out the ray tracing logo from one of the pages. Like, I wonder if that's now in doubt. We did an article because what's going on there? And of course, the fanboys came out to troll. There was lots of back and forth on Twitter.
I even got pointed to Crap Gamer.
Sorry.
And he started getting involved, and I was
just
like,
ignore it. It's just like if you're a grown human adult arguing about which plastic box team is winning on Twitter, you need to go and take a good long look at your existence. And I'm not going to mince words there. It's just why, like, grow up.
Yeah.
But Bloober team, I woke up to an email the next morning from their team that said, "Hey, just saw your article. Can you please retract? Like, we can confirm 100% ray tracing is in the game on Xbox Series X. Chill out." So we naturally updated, and even then, I can still see the arguments going on. But now, instead of all the PlayStation fanboys going and screaming about it, it's now all the Xbox fanboys doing it back and going, see? It's just like, guys, it's just a game. Like, just enjoy it. Yeah, it's got some cool tech. We'll see it when it comes out later this year. Great. The end. Like, I don't understand.
No, it was not. It was good of them to reach out, though.
It was good of them to reach out. I did take the opportunity to say, hey, well, let's get someone on and see if we can have a conversation. So we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, sorry, Bloober team. We didn't mean to make your week any more difficult than it may have already been. Whoops.
But that wasn't the only thing causing a stir this week.
No. What else was there?
Sony came out and clarified that DualShock 4s will work on PlayStation 5, but only for PlayStation 4 games. So they won't work for PlayStation 5 games, which, some people cracked it at, which I understand the argument, but I also understand Sony's side of it. Like, there are features that the DualSense has that the DualShock 4 does not. So,
like what?
I get it. There's the microphone.
So like a mic into the DualShock 4.
The DualShock 4 that has the microphone. The DualSense has the microphone, and it also has. There was something else that someone pointed out to me that I'd complete. No, yes, the triggers, the adaptive triggers.
So, that doesn't make the game unplayable on a PS4 controller. Just plug a microphone into.
To me, it's. My initial instinct was that only the microphone is the only thing that, the DualShock 4 flat out doesn't have that would make a game theoretically unplayable. So, for example, if the DualSense didn't have a touchpad, that would ruin one of my favorite PlayStation 4 games.
Okay, don't talk about Killzone
Shadowfall.
No.
That would make Killzone Shadowfall unplayable on PlayStation 5 because
no.
It needs the touchpad to run. Like, you literally can't play it without it. So my thing is, unless the vast majority of PlayStation 5 games are going to be using that microphone, it seems like they could put DualShock 4 support in there if they really wanted to.
Yeah, but they don't want to. They want a clean cut.
Yeah, they probably don't. Like, I'm willing to bet money on the fact that they can if they wanted to. Devs could probably choose to support the DualShock 4. Sony probably don't want them to because they really want to push the DualSense.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, any of the features specific to the DualSense will only be used in Sony's first-party games, and literally everyone else could have just used the DualShock 4.
Probably. In reality, yeah.
In that respect, I do admire Xbox for sticking with the same design we've had since 360, and allowing pretty much every single accessory on the one be instantly compatible with everything on the Series X.
Well, I mean, in the end, should people be surprised? Microsoft has done something that obviously reinforces their philosophy, and Sony has done something that reinforces theirs. Like, Sony came out and said, we believe in generations. Sony came out and said, we believe in giving you reasons to buy our new hardware. And not supporting the DualShock 4 for PlayStation 5 games reinforces that.
True. That actually brings up an interesting point, though, of how, like, Sony with the whole "we believe in generations, we believe in selling you a console" thing. It's very hardware company of them. You know what I mean? Whereas Microsoft, the software company, I don't know why I'm thinking of this now. This is a dumb point that everyone already knows.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about that, because it actually leads me into another topic we're going to be discussing: how xCloud isn't going to be allowed on Apple, a hardware company, managing their own software like tyrants. Now, I'm an Apple guy. I would never buy an Android again, because I like having a phone that lasts 5 years and still gets updated. I don't give a shit about the features. But come on, what the hell? Really?
Apple's look. I think. I mean, everyone's painting Apple at the moment as the bad guy. I think there's a little bit of Microsoft in it, like with anything.
Don't know on this one, mate.
Well, put it this way. For example, right, in Australia, we had a lot of issues with Apple Pay because our big banks didn't want to get on board, and it was a bit of both. So Apple has a set percentage that they take with their Apple Pay transactions, and our big four banks didn't want to give that up. So there was to and froing there. They all eventually caved. This, I think, is the same thing. While everyone's saying, oh, they don't want to allow a competing streaming platform, I don't think it's just that. Apple wants to take a 30% cut of those subscriptions. So anyone who would subscribe via the app or purchase DLC.
It's not just that I've heard, though.
Purchase DLC via the app. Anything like that, Apple wants a 30% cut of that, and Microsoft won't want to give up a 30% cut. So it's not just Apple. There'll be a little bit of Microsoft in it.
Yeah,
a little.
And I think though, it's, to be fair to Microsoft, though, it is kind of ridiculous in some sense, because what Apple wants is 30% of everything offered through xCloud. That means not just stuff from Game Pass. That's game purchases, DLCs. Suddenly, the entire Xbox library will have to be vetted by Apple. As if it was being approved for the App Store. It is literally the dumbest take on of work I have ever seen. But you know, that's like ridiculousness on the upper management of the company, putting it on the moderators of their App Store policies to have to deal with all this crap.
What I don't understand though is, like, right now, right, I've got remote play. Here's my iPhone, and I have remote play, which allows me to stream my PlayStation 4 anywhere I am in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm streaming PlayStation games on Apple's device, and I can also theoretically, can I not connect to the store and buy a game and then play it?
But it classifies itself as a remote desktop connection, and it's local to you. It's your personal device. The problem they have is that xCloud is connecting to a server that is not local to the client. Now, from a testing perspective, if you think back to the current xCloud application, if you've had the opportunity, if you've been in the beta and you've tried it, you can just play games. Right? You did have the ability to remote stream your home console, but there's two. There is two elements to this, Ed, as you said, right? There is the straight up and this is where I think the negotiation may end up, is that xCloud on iOS you'll be able to stream games the end. You will not get the enrichment, perhaps, that you might get offered from the Android and particularly the Galaxy Store Android version, where you can go into your account and you can buy DLC and in-app purchases and blah, 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 blah. You can just play, right? Yeah. Now, that I see eventually somehow being worked out, but that's, as you said, there was a little bit of Microsoft. Microsoft want to offer feature parity across the two ecosystems on Android and iOS. And I think that's the rub, is that if you want to then start buying from within an app, going to another storefront and buying stuff, Apple are saying, no, we need to be able to see every application and thing that you are then purchasing from within that application and vet them to make sure that they're okay with our policy. And that's where the argument lies.
Does that mean that they're going to do another separate app for the console streaming then?
I don't know, but my gut says that if they want to release on iOS,
because that would explain why Sony has separate apps.
I think my gut is saying something a bit different from you, John. I think what's going to happen is Microsoft is going to cave. Apple's not going to budge. Apple never budges, not unless the government forces them to budge.
Well, the Microsoft caved on Office 365.
Yeah, Microsoft caved on Office 365. Microsoft can cave again on Xbox Game Pass. And if they want access to the 50% market share that Apple enjoys over US-based customers, they're going to cave to Apple. So it's only a matter of time at this point. The only time I know of in recent history where Apple caved on its store policies was with the Steam Link app. And that was it.
But, was it? Again, the Steam Link app doesn't allow you to purchase.
Exactly.
And that's the rub. So I'm saying that I think there is a path forward for Microsoft and Apple, but Apple do not want to allow for the same feature parity. So you'll probably get eventually you'll get a really stripped down version. But the point, Ed, is that the new app that you saw perhaps demoed in the Samsung Galaxy Note session with Phil, where he jumped on and spoke a little bit, that was the Galaxy version of the app. So the Galaxy Store on Android, for those that don't know, circumvents Google Play Store and offers additional features because Samsung are happy to allow it. And I think that's Microsoft want to make it one app. So you've got Game Pass on PC, you've got Game Pass on console, you can remote install, you can buy, you can do whatever you want. Oh, and you can stream your xCloud. So you've got your 3 sections and you can just hop around in one application. Great.
I think
I don't see where they can't
honestly
separate it out.
The thing that I honestly understand, though, from Apple's perspective at the very least, is that what is essentially happening is Microsoft is wants approval to put a third-party store to run third-party games on an Apple first-party platform, right? And it's not like Netflix. It's not. It's objectively not, because Netflix doesn't let you buy movies.
No.
In Netflix, everything's part of the subscription. You're only paying the subscription. So that part Apple lets through, because it's not like it's a different store. But the Game Pass app is a different store.
And this is but arguably there are a couple of key differences. I agree with you kind of. But if I'm a Game Pass subscriber and xCloud is part of my Game Pass subscription, I should be allowed to stream anything within my Game Pass subscription. That's where the Netflix comparison is and should end. The problem is Apple are asking for everything within Game Pass that's going to be streamed to be verified as individual applications within an application.
No, the problem is that the app, from what I understand, is going to allow you to buy games and stream them without having to go through Game Pass.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So I ask the dumb question then? Wouldn't the solution to the problem be just create a separate streaming app that streams whatever you own on streams your console, like remote play.
Streams Game Pass, and that's it.
And streams the Game Pass games that you have bought separately. So right now, for example, PlayStation has 4 iOS apps. 4.
Yeah.
The main the main play. But now I'm starting to understand why. So they've got the main PlayStation
They've
app,
had to jump through the hoops.
which is where you check your trophies, you check your friends list, you can buy games as well, you can purchase games through it. Then you've got the remote play app, which is where you could stream your console to it. You then have a messaging app, a separate messaging app, and you also have a second screen app, which is almost like your smart glass kind of thing, sort of, but not really. But it's called second screen. So they have 4 apps. Microsoft currently has 2. The Xbox app, which sucks, and they have the Game Pass app. Could they not just have a situation where you have the Game Pass app, you can buy games within it, just like you can on the Xbox app. On the Xbox app, you can buy games. And then you should theoretically then be able to stream those via the console, the Xbox streaming app. So wouldn't that just have a third app, and that just gets around the problem?
That may end up being the solution, but right now it's not happening. It's interesting though that during testing for xCloud on iOS, they only allowed 10,000. They only allowed it in test flight, so they weren't ever, and they only allowed 1 game.
Yeah.
So it's odd, and it was allowed to expire. It's a shame, and hopefully these corporations can come to an agreement on how this stuff should work, because it's in our interests as consumers.
That's right. Unless there's something I'm missing, to me it sounds like it's an easy fix. Just have a third app.
It's two, like when you said there's a little bit of Microsoft in it. Yeah, there are 2 monolithic entities not wanting to give up too much of the slice of their proverbial pies, not wanting to maintain and update multiple applications perhaps is another element of it. And arguably, if they are trying to push Game Pass, they are trying to push Game Pass as, as the brand, as the ambassador, so to speak. It's the Spotify and the Netflix of the video game world. Yeah. Then they want it all in one place and allow consumers to just have one app. Great, makes sense. I understand it. But yeah, hopefully it gets resolved over time. It's just frustrating but I don't care. I have an Android. It's great. I'm on a Galaxy, so I'm in the best of worlds. Microsoft announced with Samsung that they're in a partnership for that, and I have been tempted, even though I don't need it. My S10 Plus is still going. It's still a great phone. I absolutely love it. Do I need a Galaxy Note Ultra? I could. I was really tempted. I put one in my basket after the show. I was like, oh, I could just get it. I may still. I don't know. But it is tempting. I love new tech. I love playing with new toys.
Yeah, I have to admit, if anything could push me out of Apple's ecosystem and into the Android one, it could be this.
I love the freedom on Android. You can just fiddle with more. That's just my.
But I'd probably end up getting a Surface Duo, I'd say.
I was burned by Windows Phone, and I really loved Windows Phone.
I loved the
Windows
UI so much.
But I won't get a Duo. It's a first gen device. It's a cool concept. I just don't. I use my phone a lot, and I take pictures a lot, and the Duo is just unwieldy for what I would use it for. So it's a no.
Yeah, see, I actually reckon I'd use the dual screen aspect of it heaps. Like, I reckon,
it's cool.
I'm on the Discord a lot and managing the Discord a lot, but then I'd also have the forum on the other screen, or I reckon I'd use it a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
but maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Be fun. In other interesting news, Rocksteady, out of nowhere.
Long rumored.
I actually, and people will go, "You didn't know that." I did know this. I did know it was going to be released at or shown at Fandome. I believe it's called DC Fandome. I've known that for about a month, but I was asked not to say anything, so I didn't. But yeah, it's cool. I actually thought DC Fandome was going to be cancelled because of COVID, so I was curious to see whether it would show up on one of the big platform holders shows. It didn't. It looks like Rocksteady are going ahead. I would presume that we're going to see James Gunn's Suicide Squad film trailer and the game trailer all at once.
One thing weirds me out though. It's a Suicide Squad game,
but it looks like
but that image is
Superman's the
Superman.
villain. Yeah. Well, I think this leads credence to where all of this they're making a Superman game rumors came from, because they've said no, we're not. No, you're not. But also, you kind of are,
Superman's
judging by the
involved.
artwork.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to see what
Like,
it's like, because I think they're a fantastic
if
studio.
If Superman is the front man of the artwork, then he's obviously prominent within the game. Like I was seeing it and I'm like, wait, a Suicide Squad game? Why am I seeing Superman? I didn't. Yeah, he's obviously very prominent within the game.
Yeah, I think so.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more. Looking forward to it. August 22nd, if memory serves. So keep your eyes open for that. What else? What else has happened this last?
Sorry,
fortnight?
one thing I did want to mention earlier when we were talking about the DualShock stuff. I don't know if it was real or not, but there was something allegedly leaked. It could have just been a mock-up, but it looked a little bit better than a mock-up. That there might be a PlayStation 5 Black Edition.
Yes, I saw this. I thought you'd be pleased.
I hope it's true. Not so much for the console. Like, the console looks slightly less gross, all in black. But the one thing I said, as soon as I saw the DualSense in that gross two-tone, I was like, people had done mock-ups of it in all black, and it looks so much better when it's all one color.
Didn't this one have white buttons?
No. Yes, there was that one, which was probably a prototype / 3D print job. That looked disgusting.
Oh, okay.
But the black edition, the one that looked like something official, it was all black, even the buttons. And man, the DualSense looked so much better, completely head to toe in black. The console just looked like a slightly less gross Alienware router, all in black. Like, I definitely get the black edition, even of the console. But yeah, I hope it's real, because that's the one I'll be pre-ordering if it is.
Yeah.
The all black one.
Yeah.
Because then my consoles would match back here too.
Yeah.
So I'd have the Series X and PS5 be black, the 360 and PS3 both silver, and then the Wii is white, and my Switch is whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
It's Animal Crossing.
It's Animal Crossing.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing. I'm just trying to think what else.
I just wanted to mention that.
No, it's worth mentioning. I'm trying to think what else. While we're on the subject of Sony, I know. Well, before we do Doom Eternal, we kind of mentioned it. Was it Imran?
Oh, yeah, that was part of the Moneyhats.
It was part of the Moneyhats thing. He mentioned that there are some well-known third-party multi-platform titles that Sony have bought exclusivity for PlayStation 5.
Did he say... I didn't read it, so did he say full-timed?
Don't know.
Okay,
I don't think he specified to that extent, but just known multi-platform titles.
Okay, so there's no rumor mill this week, but something I'm going to say right now may sound like it's rumor mill. So I can't. I sent a DM to my source about this to say if I could say something on the podcast, and I haven't heard. So I'm not going to say something. All I did get told was that I got told who the publisher is in terms of that game that Imran is alluding to. I can't say because I didn't get the okay yet, so sorry. But I did get told the publisher involved with a game he is alluding to.
Can I guess?
I can't confirm it, but go ahead and guess.
Can I have a guess? I'm going to guess.
Yeah,
you just go, you play Poker Face. If I was a betting man... I'm
not going to confirm it either way. I'm not confirming anything.
Like, keep an eye out for blinks, people. Let's see if he reacts. You ready?
You can guess whoever you want.
The publisher in question is... Drum roll.
Yeah.
Capcom.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not going to confirm anything on the way.
That would be my bet.
I'm not confirming anything on the way. You can guess Square Enix. Like, you know, we said on this podcast like 2 months ago, we said that Final Fantasy 16 was going to be at Sony's June show. Mm-hmm. I said there is, it's cloudy. The exclusivity arrangement around Final Fantasy 16 is cloudy. We didn't confirm anything. Then Jason Schreier was a bit of a smartass because Final Fantasy 16 didn't show. Then there was a poster on Rosetta Kagari who said, no, pretty sure Final Fantasy 16 was meant to be there and got pulled, which is what I also said. Then another poster on Rosetta, who has since been verified, said, no, Final Fantasy 16 was definitely meant to be at the June show and got pulled, not sure why. As usual, we beat everyone to that. But what I did get told is that, Final Fantasy 16 is definitely going to be an exclusive, timed exclusive on PlayStation 5, which this person also seemed to indicate. So that's that. So it's not officially rumor mill because this is all stuff that we've mentioned in the past anyway.
It's just some interesting speculation. But it's interesting, the reaction.
I put out a tweet saying that anyone who's looking forward to playing Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox, you're going to be waiting a while.
Yeah. But also, I believe Street Fighter 6, in whatever form it takes, is not going to be locked to PlayStation anymore.
Yeah, again, I put out that tweet ages ago.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people started speculating, oh, God, Street Fighter 6. Any of you that follow me on Twitter, I said ages ago that Street Fighter 6 will not be... It's going to be multi-platform. Unless something has changed very, 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 very recently.
Yeah.
But I've been told that Street Fighter 6 won't be money-headed.
Good.
Or isn't being
good.
Headed.
That's what we want to hear.
Which is so good. I'm so glad I get to play that game with it.
Well, it's an interesting one. I'm just
Controller.
thinking out loud, right, about how the perception of this kind of stuff is taken across the different communities.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You remember Tomb Raider? God, what a absolute horrific nightmare that was.
The reaction's nothing like Tomb Raider.
Right? But I want to put something out there and try and put this into context, right? So far, here's some facts, right? This is factually based, okay? Microsoft have announced the most powerful console in the smallest box, with games reaching 120 FPS in some instances. I believe Halo is one of those. Full backwards compatibility with games and accessories with improvements.
Except Connect.
Automatically, except Connect, but I can forgive that, funnily enough.
I don't.
Lots of first-party games, lots of first-party studios. The best consumer service for subscription service for gaming, hands down.
And also the most consumer-friendly approach in terms of... Because I didn't mention this earlier. So... we said Sony's got their way, which is they believe in generations. It's hard to argue Microsoft's approach isn't more consumer-friendly. So Microsoft's not going to force you to buy a brand new controller. They're saying, hey, if you've got Xbox One controllers, use them.
Yeah.
If you're big on local co-op and local multiplayer, keep your controllers.
This is what gets me, right? Is and not only that, you've now got xCloud as part of that Game Pass membership.
Ultimate.
Yeah. That's pretty great, right? Okay, that's all factual stuff. Okay, now that my opinion of that being pretty great is an opinion, but I'm just trying to sit there and think if the situations were reversed, right? So it was Sony that came out with the most powerful, smallest box and had this service and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And it was Microsoft that announced the Alienware router that was the size of a small building and it was weaker and blah, 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 blah. Like, can you imagine the narrative going on?
Oh, yeah.
Now? I just thought it was worth highlighting.
It'd be 2013 levels.
Like, this is... It's just intriguing. And I think the only reason I wanted to bring this up was it really drives home the point of what a horrific uphill battle Microsoft have made for themselves this generation.
Yep.
Like, I don't envy them because it's like no matter what they do that is good, it's not enough.
But this is why I keep saying that Microsoft, when I always use this phrase, they don't get it. Like it feels like Microsoft believes they're on equal footing with Sony when they're not. Like I feel like they don't understand their position. That's the issue. So for example, right? So Microsoft did the Rise of the Tomb Raider money hat and everyone melted over it. Sony is now doing the exact same thing and no one's melting over it. And if anything, you've even got the cheerleaders for it. And you got people saying that Sony makes them feel special because of all this exclusivity. So knowing that, right, understanding that, Microsoft needs to be smart, yeah? They need to think outside the box in how they approach things until they get to that level where people champion what they do rather than melt down over it. So if Sony's going to go and money hat Final Fantasy 16, Microsoft can't do the same thing and get away with it. They can do it. Sure. Go and money hat FIFA. Spend billions and money hat FIFA if you want. And you know what? That'll work because everyone plays FIFA. It'll work in terms of sales because, my God, everyone plays FIFA.
But they'll be crucified for it.
In terms of, that's right, the media will crucify them for it, the forums will crucify them for it, Twitter will crucify them. So until you get to that level again, like you were with the 360, you've got to be smart. So rather than money hatting a FIFA or a GTA or a Battlefield or whatever, what you do is go to, and I've said this before, go to Capcom, go to Sega, go to Konami, go to Blizzard, and say, hey, Blizzard, you guys are knee deep in, what the hell did Blizzard do? Overwatch, Diablo. Do they do World of Warcraft? Is that them, World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
You're knee deep in all these huge franchises that make you guys a lot of money. You guys have a little IP that, you know, called Rock and Roll Racing that you used to make. Can we do something with it? Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, please, before people start saying, oh, but Rock and Roll Racing would sell 15 copies. I'm not trying to argue. This isn't about the sales of the games. This is, again, big picture. Yeah. I like to look big picture.
Yeah.
Go to Capcom. Say, hey, Capcom, you guys aren't doing anything with Power Stone. You guys aren't doing anything with Maximo. Hey, Sega, you guys aren't doing anything with Altered Beast or Shinobi or Golden Axe. These aren't premier franchises. I'm not trying to make the argument they are, but they would cost nothing to bring back. They would cost next to nothing, but they would make Game Pass that much more compelling. So if Microsoft were to approach Capcom and say, hey, let's do a deal with Lizard Cube, look at what Lizard Cube did with Streets of Rage 4. Say, okay, hey, Capcom, what are you doing with Captain Commando? Why don't we get Lizard Cube to give Captain Commando the Wonder Boy Dragon's Trap treatment? Bring it back.
There's a lot
that used to love those.
Yeah, I agree with
that. But what
sentiment.
I'm saying is, like, if they're smart and they approach Sega and Capcom. So let's say, the Street Fighter V deal. Now, Street Fighter V commercially didn't actually do that well. But you know what Street Fighter did do? It made the PlayStation 4 the default home for fighting games.
Yep.
Big picture.
Yeah.
Again, people looked at the sales of Street Fighter V and went, oh, that deal worked out dumb. No, it didn't. What it did was it made the PlayStation 4 the default home for fighting games.
Yeah. Did you see Killer Instinct to Evo once Street Fighter released?
That's right. So you got to think bigger picture. So Microsoft, what they need to do is they need to play it smart, and it's going to take time. It's not something they can do overnight.
Yeah.
But make the Xbox the home of stuff. So if they were to go to Sega and Capcom and Konami and revive all these old scrolling beat-em-ups, yeah, they're not going to sell millions of copies, but it suddenly makes the Xbox the home of the scrolling beat-em-up. So people will go and subscribe to Game Pass to play those classics, and then, you know what? They might buy Streets of Rage 4 on Xbox because that's where they have all their scrolling beat-em-ups. And maybe they approach some other publisher and say, or they approach Capcom. Hey, Capcom, let's bring back Maximo. There's nothing like that at the moment. There's really only Ratchet and Clank. Let's bring back Maximo. And you know what? While we're at it, let's do HD remasters of 1 and 2. And you can only get those on Game Pass and Xbox. And again, they're not going to sell millions of copies. But the broader picture is that it fills up your portfolio with stuff you really can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I've made a similar argument, I think, on the podcast before, in that, you know, when you look at the Banjos or the Mech Assaults or whatever, Banjo being a great example, right? I know a lot of hardcore Banjo fans would be like, yeah, it would sell millions. Arguably, no, it wouldn't. Right?
It might not. It probably would.
I mean, Spyro and Crash did really great, and it's a prime example of Microsoft. They have these franchises that are sought after, that are asked after. Every E3 is the E3 of dreams. Is Banjo finally going to be announced? And then it isn't. But if they did it, even if it was just a remaster, but if they finally did it, it's not how much it sells. It's the conversation and the tone change around the brand and the platform going forward.
That's right.
And that's the bit that I feel sometimes Microsoft doesn't fully get. It's like, it's not about how much you spend, it's about the image almost. And
that's what PlayStation does get.
It does get it.
So,
it does get it.
Days Gone didn't sell as much as Horizon, and it didn't sell as much as Last of Us. But it reinforces the idea that if you want your third-person, over-the-shoulder, single-player, narrative-driven, slow walk and talk game, you buy a PlayStation for that. And that's what Microsoft needs to do, and they need to do it slowly. So by doing a Banjo remaster, all of a sudden people go, oh, well, maybe I'll get Crash 4 on Xbox. And maybe I'll get the Spyro remaster on Xbox, because I've also got the Banjo remaster on Xbox. And I've also got the Maximo remaster and Maximo 3 on Xbox. So all of a sudden Xbox becomes this home of platform adventure games.
Yep.
As well as the scrolling beat 'em up home. As well as, like, the world is crying out for a decent tennis game. Because there isn't one. But guess what Microsoft has? They have backwards compatibility. Yep. So rather than developing your own tennis game, why not work a deal with Sega and say, okay, the license for a lot of these players is a bit of a nightmare, might get expensive. So what if and look, I don't propose to know how the licensing agreements work on this stuff. This is all just off the top of my head.
Nice conjecture.
Why don't we do a deal with ATP and with Sega and with us and just renew these licenses for 3 months, a 3-month window. And we advertise it very clearly that, hey, guys, for the next 3 months, we've managed to be able to bring back Virtua Tennis 4. It's Series X, 1X enhanced, because the original game was 1080-60 native on 360.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, the BC team goes, oh, we can get this to 4K 120. Hoo-hoo-hoo. So all of a sudden, if you want a decent tennis game, you have to get an Xbox, because Xbox is the only place you can get Virtua Tennis 4. And it's 4K and it's 120 and it's got the full license, but you've only got a 3-month window to buy it.
Yeah,
and you haven't had to develop your own tennis game. Like, it's things like that. Like,
yeah, we could.
I get frustrated thinking about it.
To be fair, I mean, I think it's a great topic of conversation. And certainly, those of you watching on YouTube, drop a comment in the comments box below if you agree. Do you think Microsoft have an uphill battle when it comes to their image? I think that's inarguable, arguably. But what would you do? What do you think that they should do to overcome it, to climb that hill, so to speak?
It's going to be a slow process, but they've
is.
got to make the right moves.
They have got to make the right moves.
And they're not.
A couple of other things as well. I just want to mention it because Funknown's not here anymore, and I know he would want me to. And I'm going to say this. I was wrong, all right? I think I saw the trailer for Battletoads, and I know I've played a lot of it. I played a lot of an alpha, I think, at the Microsoft store in London. It was bastard hard, and it was a bit of a side-scrolling level and a bit of the
It does
bike
look sped up
dodging.
in the latest footage.
It does look sped up, but
it looks sped up.
It really looks like a really well-produced, neat little Game Pass game. And I think we'll have review copies soon, because it's coming out soon. So we'll definitely get a review in.
But again, the home of scrolling beat-em-ups.
But you know what? It looks all right. I was quite surprised. I think it's all worked out rather well in the end. So credit to Dalala Studios, which is actually in my home county. I think they're just up the road in Essex, where I live.
Oh, wow.
So congrats to them. It's very, very cool. And rare, obviously.
August 20?
Something like that, yes.
August 20?
But it's coming to Game Pass day one on PC and console. So.
It's already, by the way, preload is up too. I've already got it installed.
And the last thing I wanted to mention, and I know Cairo Figments, damn your name change, sir. Elder Scrolls and Doom Eternal are getting
And Doom Eternal.
upgrades
Free upgrades.
for the new
They didn't
series of
use
consoles.
I don't think they used the term smart delivery, did they?
No, they
For
said
Xbox?
free upgrades.
Free upgrades because again, smart delivery is a technology. It's something you have to plan for.
Yeah.
In advance. It's not something. I don't think it's something you can add later.
No.
But yeah.
But that's cool. Yay. Good for everybody. So I think that covers all of the biggest talking points from the last 14 days and then some.
Yes.
So we'll move on to my always favourite segment, community questions. We need a jingle for this, Ed. I know you came up with one for the rumour mill.
Yes, we did. And we're going to keep using that, by the way.
We'll have to come up with community questions jingle. I'm not sure. Find something. But yeah, we've obviously got our own forum now.
Yeah, we have our own forum now to source these questions from,
as
well as
collated
Discord
these
and Twitter.
From Discord, Twitter, and the XboxEra forum.
Yes, so let's start with the forum. In the interest of celebrating the forum, let's start with the forum.
Let's start there.
Okay. The first question is from Scott ×2. That's his name. Would you guys ever consider community guests? Love the show and think it would be cool to be involved. Question from me is related to Compulsion Games. They're probably the studio we've heard the least about since the acquisition, which we've also said before. They obviously only recently put out We Happy Few, but do we have any ideas what they may be working on next, and when are we likely to hear about it? Funny that Scott mentioned Compulsion, because I actually reached out to their community manager about joining the forum. Haven't heard back. But yeah, we don't know what Compulsion are doing. Do we? We have no idea. I don't.
I've heard
No,
it's a
I have no
third-person title. That's about all I know.
Microsoft needs more of those.
Yeah.
I still can't forget that first trailer for We Happy Few. God, I thought it was
good.
a BioShock. I thought it was like this BioShock thing, and I was like, man, if they can channel
Great
that
world
somehow
building.
with their next game, that'd be really, really good. But sorry, Scott, we don't know what they're doing. Hopefully it's something good. Like so far, all the studios have shown in a very, very short space of time what Microsoft's money is doing for them.
Yeah.
Double Fine, Ninja Theory, Playground,
Obsidian.
Obsidian, Jesus. I can't believe we didn't talk about Avowed. I can't believe Figments didn't mention Avowed.
Yeah.
Even like that's not even my jam, and even I thought Avowed looked cool.
Yeah. It's giving those Elder Scrolls fans a big reason to jump into Xbox.
Maybe even Todd would look at that and go, maybe I don't need to release Skyrim on the Series X.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that looked cool, but that's one hell of a tangent. Compulsion. Hopefully, like all the other new studios, Compulsion will be doing great things with Microsoft's resources and all that first-party tech sharing and all that sort of stuff going on. Hopefully, they can do something really, really good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. With regards to community guests,
I
just wanted to touch on that quickly.
We've talked about that behind the scenes before, haven't we?
We have talked about it. It's something we have to be delicate with, because one, we insist on video if possible for podcast, because we think it's important to see who you're hearing. Two, we do want to walk a very fine line because we want to avoid the perhaps more shouting over each other podcasts that are out there. I won't name them. But the ones that have 6 bajillion guests on, I find to be incoherent. Because part of this whole thing is you guys getting to know us and the team sort of that are behind XboxEra, but we're not adverse to it. It's just something we perhaps need to give a little thought and have a good kind of muse over. So we'll let you know when we come up with something that we think works for everybody. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Next question. Our friend Jay Singh, who usually asks on Twitter, but now has the forum to ask on. He had a weird spurt where he's really focused on this TikTok acquisition.
He really is, isn't he?
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with that. I stay off TikTok myself because I'm not that interested in being spied on that way. But this is related to TikTok with relation to Xbox getting TikTok. Now, it's not actually Xbox getting TikTok; it's Microsoft getting TikTok. Is literally free marketing for Xbox, as they don't have to pay anything. The caveat is, will the deal go through? And if the deal doesn't happen, hold on. I just lost that question. Where is it? Sorry.
I've got it in
Bear
front
with
of
me.
me.
I'll get it back. Yeah. I just lost the question for a second.
If the deal does go through, if the deal doesn't happen, Microsoft may have no choice but to ramp up the content and buy out highly sought intellectual properties like Warner Brothers.
Yeah, like WB Studios, because they have no self-owned social platforms. In order to mitigate the lack of consumer awareness in relation to Xbox, they may buy IPs which have a worldwide appeal, Xbox being their only consumer brand. And in the light of Sony money having many well-known video games as timed exclusive, it only makes sense to take this step. Your opinion? Well, yeah, I mean, they've lost Mixer. Obviously, they've shut that down. So I can kind of see that spin on it as TikTok being a kind of, not a replacement for Mixer, but almost a stand-in social platform. But the thing is, it's not Xbox getting TikTok, it's Microsoft. So
I just don't see
I don't know how relevant. I mean, again, historically, Microsoft has never been that good at leveraging their own stuff to support their own stuff.
Yep.
So, yes, TikTok could be a very, very strong platform to help Xbox. It actually could. I just don't see Microsoft being smart enough to pull it off.
I think the asking price is borderline stupid.
What is it?
100 billion.
What?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's ridiculous like
It's
that.
not going to happen. I just don't see it happening at all whatsoever.
Why the hell would they pay 100 billion?
This whole thing is an executive order from a. I don't want to get political. It's an executive order that will probably
buy PlayStation and Nintendo.
Yeah, it will probably get.
They buy TikTok?
It will probably get knocked down in the courts. I just don't see it being a thing. The interesting thing about this, right? And I want to be super. I'm not gonna. I try and not get political about stuff, but I just want to touch on this, right? This is the American government not wanting the Chinese government to have access to the American citizens' personal information, right? But
that's right.
So their solution is to give it to an American company so that an American company has access to your information instead, right? That's what it is, all right? It's basically...
but to be fair,
it's government
Microsoft
versus government.
and Apple,
Yeah.
Microsoft and Apple are, in my opinion, probably the best at handling personal data.
Yeah.
Like, that's a part of the reason I'm in those ecosystems and not in Google's.
Yeah.
Because I've found that Apple and Microsoft are far, far better with it.
Yeah.
Far better.
I don't have much to say on it. I think it's the Warner Brothers acquisition.
100 billion?
Yeah, it's a stupid amount, and that's why I think that the likelihood is the executive order that's been issued for this whole thing is probably just going to be challenged in the courts, and it will just fall to the wayside because there's an election in X number of months. It's a stupid.
But the amount though, like back to the amount, for 100 billion, they could buy Nintendo,
they could buy
PlayStation, EA. But I'm saying they could buy all of them, not individually. I'm saying together. They could buy Nintendo, PlayStation, EA, and just rule the video game world for that much money.
Yeah.
Why would they just want to have a social media platform that could potentially... Like, remember Vine was pretty big for a while there too.
And,
Snapchat
was the talk of the town, and now it's not really...
Yeah, that's right. Now, again, I'm not saying that TikTok's going to go the way of Vine, but let's be honest. TikTok just is the new Vine.
Yeah, it's a fad, in my opinion, and I think it's worthless.
That's what I'm saying. So why would they pay 100 billion for it?
I don't think they will.
And they already paid 25 billion for a business social platform.
Yeah.
In LinkedIn.
Yeah, which is making them money. So.
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they've made quite a bit of money out of LinkedIn. One thing I will say though,
TikTok?
Jay Singh, and I mean this in the kindest, most sincere, friendliest way I can possibly communicate it to you. Full stops and paragraphs, bro. Alright, I'm here for you. It's a free tip. I mean it in the nicest way. because I read that and I was like, where is the end of the sentence? It doesn't.
Yeah, it just kept going, didn't it?
Now, I appreciate if English is not your native language. I'm not criticising. I'm just saying, chuck one in there, hit the enter button a couple of times. We'll get on just fine. It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Next question, and now I'm spewing. We talked about what we talked about before because it was kind of a community question. Blast the Base. Do you believe that MS sees the same or proportionate amount of success signing timed exclusive deals that Sony does? I feel like they are mostly ineffective. They are, with the sole exception being the first Titanfall. With Final Fantasy XVI's exclusive announcement coming soon, I feel like I can't remember the last time that MS had one, a Megaton exclusive deal for a third-party game since Rise of the Tomb Raider. 2, an exclusive deal has moved units the way it should. I feel like exclusive deals for MS are only worth it if they can get a day one Game Pass deal with it, which would be even more costly. That I disagree with. A Game Pass launch would be way cheaper than a timed or full exclusive.
Agreed.
Because logically it has to be cheaper because you're not locking the game away from other platforms.
Yep.
So why would you pay more? If anything, that's what Microsoft should also be doing.
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to do timed exclusives, shitty timed exclusives like Sony are doing. We're actually going to do arguably one better and have a Game Pass launch. So, and I wonder if that's part of why Sony have been mad rushing all these exclusives. Because maybe Microsoft has been sniffing around getting Game Pass launches.
Yeah.
With third-party games.
Because it allows the third party to release on all platforms. It allows them to still make money from people that want to buy a physical or digital copy. But it gives that Game Pass subscriber base the impetus
no reason
to
to buy it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Like there'd be, the number of people that own a PlayStation and an Xbox is probably a lot larger than you think. And if you have a third-party game launch on Game Pass, no one's going to buy a PlayStation 4 copy, are they?
Not if I have an Xbox.
Why would you? If you have an Xbox or a PC, why would you buy that game on PlayStation 4 when you can just install it as part of your Game Pass sub? Or better yet, buy Game Pass for 1 month, use Phil's loophole, and get Game Pass for a month. Play the crap out of the game, and do you remember that Phil's loophole thing?
I think Phil's publicly said he doesn't want to do something like Rise of the Tomb Raider again. Like he doesn't like the effect it has on the brand.
So do Game Pass deals, or do what we were talking about earlier. Do what Nintendo did with Bayonetta. That's how Microsoft should be doing it going forward. Because that's what they can get away with. The media won't crucify them for bringing back Power Stone. The media won't crucify them for doing a deal with Capcom and Lizard Cube to remaster Captain Commando. The media would actually love them for it.
Yeah.
And this is how they have to do it. They've got to do it bit by bit, slowly, until they get themselves back into that position they were in with the 360. That's their way forward, I think. Are they going to do it? History shows probably not. But that is what I believe the way forward for them. And the funny part is, it wouldn't be expensive. It would cost nothing to bring back Power Stone. It would cost nothing.
There's a hint of desperation in your voice there, Nick.
Oh, but it's annoying because so many people would sub to Game Pass for a new Power Stone. So many people would buy, even if it's just a locker, to be able to play Power Stone and Maximo and Golden Axe and Shinobi and all these games.
People named Nick or Shpeshal Ed as he goes by on
Media.
But I'm getting a
Series
Series X anyway. But you're gonna have not everyone that owns a PlayStation is a mindless fanboy, yeah?
Nope.
So you're gonna have normal people that just prefer PlayStation, and that's completely fine. But you know what? There are also people that own a PlayStation that would love a new Maximo, because Maximo is one of my favorite games from the PlayStation 2. That was a PlayStation 2 exclusive. And there are going to be PlayStation owners that would love another Maximo. But it's not on PlayStation. If Microsoft brought it back with Capcom, guess what they're going to do? they're going to buy a Lockhart at minimum and either buy Maximo 3 or sub to Game Pass. And you've got them in. You've got them in the ecosystem, don't you? Yes, Maximo 3 is not going to sell millions of copies. But if it brings 100,000 PlayStation 5 owners into the Xbox ecosystem through a Lockhart, then the job is done, isn't it?
There's a new YouTube game now. Every time Nick says Maximo or Power Stone, you have to do a shot.
Oh, but like my frustration is that games like that, I mentioned those two because I love them, but games in that vein.
Yeah.
So Shinobi hasn't been done since the PS2 days either.
No, I know.
But imagine how cool it would be to bring back Shinobi. But again, I believe I'm making prudent choices here because these games wouldn't cost much to bring back. So it just seems insane to me that they're not exploring this option. And honestly, if we ever got Phil on this podcast, would I drill him on this point?
Yeah, maybe. He'd certainly have a fun time.
Yeah.
What we got next? I think.
Hopefully we answered Blast the Bass.
I think we did.
Question. Okay.
Good man, Blast the Bass. Is it Mort next?
Yep, Mort. What will 2021 look like for Xbox exclusive games, do you think? Will any of the games already shown be released? Does Xbox Game Studios Publishing have something to surprise us with or something else? 2021, I think, will look fine.
Yeah, I think everyone...
Get Forza.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be in the world where we have like these severe droughts. Look at August. Like Microsoft are having a mad August. There's like 4 games. We've got Flight Sim, Battletoads, Tell Me Why, first episode, and Wasteland 3, all in 1 month. All on Game Pass. I mean, that's bonkers. Yep. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. I think Forza will land 2021.
I think first party may not be a lot, but then you're going to have all those other games fill the breach, like Medium, although Medium's supposed to be this year. Scorn was that the game?
Yeah.
You're going to have the stuff we saw in May, Bright Memory, Scorn. They're going to be what fills the breach in 2021, along with Forza, and then from 2022 onwards is when you're probably going to see that rhythm going where there's just bang, it's bang, bang. First party.
The repeat of that 2007 Xbox 360 bumper year where it just had absolutely like Mass Effect, BioShock, Halo
although
3.
I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if Everwild makes it next year.
I think Everwild has a good chance of doing it. I really do want to sit down and chat with Louise O'Connor about it. It would be great fun to see what that game is. I'm still intrigued.
And you know what? You know what else could be a shocker for next year, like late next year?
Mm.
No one's going to believe me or agree with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. Fable.
That would be a surprise.
I reckon Fable could be next year.
I reckon you'll see gameplay, but I think it'll be 2022.
Very late. But again, it's just a guess. I don't know anything. This isn't a hint. This isn't anything. Although I keep getting asked about that what's not dead thing. And I can't say yet. I'll ask, but I can't say yet. So yeah, I think 2021 will be fine. I just don't think there'll be a lot of first-party stuff. There'll be those console launch exclusives that sort of fill that breach until all the first-party studios are up and running and pumping stuff out.
Yeah. And there'll definitely be Xbox Global Publishing titles that will also fill that breach. The ones that we don't know about yet. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot going on there that is going to come to fruition for us as Xbox platform fans. So it's all good.
Yeah. The next one is from, I guess we'll go with the name Bigsy. He says, congratulations on the forum. Thank you. And, the podcast and the growth and all that sort of stuff, which is good. His question is in regards to Halo Infinite. In the marketing promo on the Smythe Toys webpage for Halo Infinite before I got
it's a UK brand, so he must be a fellow.
Is it? Okay.
He must be a fellow Brit.
The toy webpage for Halo Infinite, before it got taken down, it states Halo Infinite will have a groundbreaking multiplayer experience. Do you reckon this is usual marketing jargon, or that 343 believe they have crafted a multiplayer experience that they believe is something groundbreaking or a new spin on an existing premise? Now, I think that was more talking about the fact that it's free to play.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Why? What the hell do you know?
Nothing. I think
Sick.
that it's not. I think it's possibly referring to the fact that it's free to play. But I also think.
Well, that's what I thought. I just assumed
also
they were
think,
talking about the free-to-play aspect.
You know, Microsoft and by extension the 343 have been. You know, they've made the big moment be about campaign. I think in the run-up to launch, I think we're going to see some interesting stuff on multiplayer. Yeah.
I do believe, though, when it comes to multiplayer, I think down the road, so obviously we know that Halo Infinite's coming in a little bit hot. Just a little bit.
A little bit warm. A little bit fresh out the oven.
But I do believe that we are going to have the 3 pillars of Halo, so campaign, multiplayer, Forge, all because we didn't get that with Halo 5. So I think we're going to get those. Yeah, so I think we're going to get the cores at the core pillars at launch, which is campaign, multiplayer, Forge, and the multiplayer will have its cores. So probably big team battle, arena. I think there was rumors of Breakout coming back.
I hope not.
I think. I liked it.
I hope not. And I doubt it. It's not in Halo 5's playlists anymore for a reason. I don't see why it would come back.
So I think you'll have.
Hold on a second. That's not true. Breakout is still in Halo 5.
I don't think it is.
It's still in as a custom option.
No, it's in the elimination mode. So it's mixed in. It's mixed in with elims, regular elims, Breakout 1.0, and Breakout 2.0.
Okay.
They're all on the same playlist.
I like Breakout. I thought that was
I love
fun.
Breakout 2.0. Breakout 1.0 was garbage. Breakout 2.0 was when they made it actually fun.
Nah.
I like Breakout 2.0.
Nah.
I liked it.
That's what I say.
But yeah, I think Halo multiplayer will have its cores there. But what I think is part of the roadmap, as we now know that Halo Infinite's a platform and stuff will keep coming in and changing. And now that it's
Fortnite, people.
Yeah, that's right. It is. They're probably turning into Fortnite. I think what will come down the road...
Without the Battle Royale, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Battle Royale's coming. I believe...
No,
come on, dude. Like, you can't tell me that Halo does not lend itself beautifully
don't get me wrong.
to Battle Royale.
We have a million Battle Royale games. I
love
can
it.
literally play any other Battle Royale game.
Halo Battle Royale would force its way into that conversation without a doubt, assuming they do it right. Like, you've already got your ODSTs, because they're not the super-powered Spartans, so you'd be using your ODSTs if you're smart. You've already got Warzone, which was effectively almost like a pre-Battle Royale. Like, Warzone is your giant maps, everyone's on there fighting for whatever. You could just make a bigger version of a Warzone map, and it's got, you know, your weapons to find and your stations, and like the foundations of Battle Royale are already there, like, and have been in Halo for years. Like, it just seems crazy to me that they don't have one yet. Like, you've got ODSTs that drop in from the sky. You've got, like, it's all there. The pieces are already there. It's crazy to me they don't have it.
I think it's better just to have Halo focus on the multiplayer direction that it's traditionally focused on. I hate not every friggin' thing in the world needs a Battle Royale.
But
I didn't like when Warzone came out.
Battle Royale is a mode. It does, like, so we know that Halo
the mode is in everything now.
Gentlemen.
So what?
Gentlemen.
So what?
And it changes the design of games.
No, it doesn't.
Ed is correct.
Just don't play it.
Don't
play it.
Battle Royale can be just
in
an additional mode.
It's a mode.
Blackout in Black Ops 4 changed how that game was balanced because everything was balanced around the Battle Royale. Nothing was balanced around regular multiplayer.
Do you play Warzone?
Only occasionally and only Plunder.
Okay, so has Warzone affected your Modern Warfare multiplayer experience?
It broke the Car 98K. Yes, it has affected my multiplayer.
Whatever.
Are you kidding me? Because of Warzone, that thing has the ADS. That thing has the aim assist ADS of a friggin' laser. It is scarily accurate in anyone's hands. It is complete BS, and it was only done because of Warzone.
Battle Royale is a mode. It is a multiplayer mode, and any game can have it. And guess what? You can choose not to play it. Just like Halo 5 has SWAT.
It's not just a game mode because it demands its own game balance.
I live in SWAT in Halo. And what happens in Arena doesn't affect me in SWAT and vice versa. And what happens in Warzone doesn't affect me in SWAT. And a Battle Royale Halo would just be another mode within their free multiplayer suite.
That's not how it always plays out. The problem with Battle Royale is that it always ends up infecting every other mode because Battle Royale is so specific that it requires its own set of tuning principles in order to adjust to.
But here's the beauty of Halo. It doesn't, because you've already got your ODSTs, which don't have the same shield properties, and they don't have the same strength, and they don't have the same mobility options as a Spartan. You've already have that there. And different rules apply to ODSTs. Now, they may not use ODSTs. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if they're smart, they already have that infrastructure in place, those rules in place for a Battle Royale mode that won't affect Arena. So it's already a non-issue for Halo. Already.
I don't want it.
We'll see. I
am willing to bet money that a Battle Royale mode is coming to Halo. It has to, because it just makes so much sense. Like,
well, I guess we'll be able to be talking about it in however long until launch. They'll show off multiplayer eventually, and the conversation will.
They've gone free to play. There's the hint already that they're going to do it.
Yeah,
There's the hint already.
We'll see.
Anyway,
I hope we answered the question, Big Z. Certainly, you kicked off a little bit of tension there. I hope you're proud of yourself. What we got next? Who we got next?
Okay, next is Malik XBL. What do you think held back in terms of game studio acquisitions and third-party marketing? The global publishing team was almost non-existent. Where were those surprises? I think he's referring to the show.
Yeah.
The July show. What do you think Xbox held back in terms of games, studio acquisitions, and third-party marketing? Because you know how there was talk that Microsoft pulled stuff? And we said it ourselves that Microsoft had sort of held stuff back because they didn't think Sony's show was anything special. I think they held back. Well, we know they held back Perfect Dark, or Initiative's game.
I think we'll see that at the Game Awards this year. Just saying.
Oh, really?
That's why
I think it'll be shown in August?
Nah.
Sometime?
Nah. I don't think so. That's going to be a little bombshell for Game Awards.
Maybe.
We'll
like
see.
Hellblade was?
Yeah, like Hellblade was. Yeah.
Studio acquisitions. Look, I am a lone ranger in the Discord on studio acquisitions because everyone in there sits there and talks about this studio. So there was a hashtag that started out of the Discord.
20 by 2020.
Hashtag 20 by 2020. And back when that hashtag started, I created my own hashtag, which was hashtag 15 by 2020. We are now past the halfway point of 2020. Guess how many studios Microsoft's got? 15. So right now, hashtag 15 by 2020 is the leading hashtag. I don't think 20 by 2020 is happening. I don't even think 16 by 2020 is happening.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any new acquisitions this year.
No.
Not this year. I'm not saying that they've stopped altogether.
Correct.
I'm sure, and we know for a fact that they're sniffing around. So I'm not saying that acquisitions are stopping altogether. I just don't think we're going to see any more by the end of this year. There's plenty they should get. I think they're dumb that they haven't acquired Asobo yet. That's dumb. Yeah. I think they're dumb that they haven't acquired Bloober yet. That's real dumb. I think Saber is another one.
Saber's already been acquired.
Oh, they did. I think it was dumb that they missed them, though.
Yeah, they were a good support studio.
No, they weren't just a good support. I don't know. Did any of you play Time Shift?
Yeah, man, back in the day, it was a pretty good game.
Time Shift was a good game, man.
You're right. I shouldn't be so dismissive. It was a good game.
Saber Interactive is a good studio, and I think Microsoft was dumb to let them go. But right now, their priority needs to be Asobo. They need to acquire Asobo.
I can't wait to dive into the review of Flight Simulator. I'm really looking
Flight
forward
Sim,
to breaking out the.
Like, but look at what this studio can do. Like, they were involved in Disney Infinity. They were involved in Recall. They made Plague Tale. They're making Flight Sim. What can this studio not do? Like, what can they not do?
Yeah.
Like, how are they not a priority target for Microsoft?
Yeah.
They
But
have to be.
the Xbox Global Publishing though, like I don't know, I don't think they were non-existent. They are publishing As Dusk Falls. They're publishing or working with presumably Stalker 2 on Xbox. The Medium, the Gunk. What else? Crossfire
There
X.
was a fair bit. Scorn.
Yeah,
Crossfire.
Scorn. There's plenty of stuff Global Publishing are doing. That's not everything that they're doing. So I can't agree with the premise of the question. But there is definitely more in the chamber, should we say, that is not being talked about. And there's going to be deals being made all the time. So there's plenty to look forward to.
And Malik has a follow-up question as well.
Yep.
Do you guys think Xbox will get marketing rights for COD again? Nope.
No.
It helped them a lot during the 360 era. It helped them gain mindshare and bring many people to their ecosystem. Or will they let Sony have it for next gen? I know Phil doesn't like this type of stuff, but this is a business and proven strategy that works. I don't see Sony letting go of the COD rights. Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible.
I do see. I think they're probably going to lessen the severity of what they claim is exclusive for the next Call of Duty, because I know for this one it was an entire mode of the co-op, the survival mode, that got exclusivity on PlayStation for an entire flipping year too, which is the dumbest thing. But I mean, we're in August now. Usually the next Call of Duty is announced in May.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and we're still only operating on rumors of what the next Call of Duty could be. So at this point, I think it's safe. I think it can be safe to say that we're not going to see a new Call of Duty till next year. And at that point, I'm fine with that, because then I was upset when the year delay for Survival was announced, because at the time everyone just assumed, oh, the next Call of Duty is coming next year, so a year delay is going to be worthless. But now that it's looking like Modern Warfare is sticking around for another year, maybe the 1 year delay isn't going to be so bad.
Yeah, I said it on Resetera back in, I think April or May, that I had a sneaking suspicion they could delay Black Ops. Like, Modern Warfare's kicking ass. Like,
yeah,
it's doing so incredibly well and getting constantly updated and making
Battle Pass is getting a crap ton of money.
Why not give them an extra year?
Like, people are complaining and moaning about certain things on the subreddit, like weapon balance and maps. But at the end of the day, it is still one of the most popular games on console right now.
Oh yeah,
and even to some extent PC. So there's nothing that Activision needs to do in the immediate future. They don't have to release a new Call of Duty. The current Call of Duty is still selling like crazy.
Yeah,
so they don't have to.
That is true.
I think it's fine.
You know where Microsoft's marketing money might go? Destiny.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, it kind of already did a little bit, right?
They've snatched it back. There's something going on.
There's something going on with Bungie and Microsoft, I reckon. I don't know what it is, but
what if they're the 16th? What if they're the 16th?
God, could you
imagine? A big old.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Home.
Like, I don't think they're gonna. Bungie is massive. Bungie is like nearly 700 employees.
And you got to remember, Tencent have recently invested in Bungie with a nice dollop of cash.
A Tencent investment.
I don't know if that was an investment in so much, like, because remember, Tencent gave Platinum money too, but it wasn't.
No, but I'm sure that with that investment came some sort of minority stakeholder thing. I'm sure it was. I might be wrong.
As long as Microsoft can pony up the cash, it doesn't matter if you're a minority stakeholder.
That's right. Microsoft would buy that out. They would just buy that out. So my thing is, like, I'd be a hypocrite to believe that Microsoft could buy Bungie, because the reason I said that Microsoft will not be acquiring WB is because I don't think Microsoft are going to want to take on that many staff in one hit.
Yeah.
Bungie's almost the same. Bungie on their own is nearly the same size as all those WB studios.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Bungie is massive.
They're massive. They're so big.
Yeah.
But I think from a marketing perspective, I think that's where their marketing is going to lean into Destiny. And they'll go with Battlefield.
Whatever Bungie's new IP might be.
Wasn't something leaked or shown with that?
Someone's working on something.
Like that wasn't there a trademark that Bungie registered?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
Hold on, I don't want to say anything, but hold on. Let me just bear with me. I just want to check something here. Yeah, that's right. I was right. They registered some IP or
Matter, wasn't it?
Trademark Matter.
Yeah.
For something called Matter. I just didn't want to say that in case I didn't want to be showing something that I wasn't meant to show. But yeah, Matter. They've got this thing, whatever it is. Maybe Microsoft is going to help with that.
Maybe.
And have the marketing.
They're only down the road from them.
They're almost in the same bloody suburb, aren't they? Yeah, like they're literally down the road.
So it's a small world out there.
Okay, so that's the forum questions. Wow.
We've only got a few on Twitter.
There's not many on Twitter and there's not many on the Discord. So I'll go to the Discord. Don Cabezas asked, should I ask Don Cabezas' question? It's a dumb question.
Is it a stupid question?
It's a stupid question. Who is this supposed Figments person? Did he kill and then eat Chironaut? Is he just a part of our collective imagination?
Yes. Is the answer.
Yeah.
And before we move
Next
on...
question.
At least I'll attempt to ask it.
Before we move on, congrats quickly to Don Cabeza, because I think he did his first
review, the retro review.
Yeah, he did his first article. He did a really, really great retro piece on. It's weird to call Recall retro, but it's kind of just looking back at some of the previous Xbox exclusives over this gen and previous. He did a really good job. We're using
the term retro loosely.
Retrospective is the shorthand.
Yeah, that's right. It is short for the word retrospective. It's not short. It's retro doesn't technically mean 60s and 70s. Like it means retrospective. I look back. Yeah, so
absolutely,
we're technically using it correctly, and technically correct is the best kind of correct.
He's right.
Okay, Soul Blazers.
Yep.
So one of the fears you guys had with the event was that there would be no big surprises. Yep, we did say that, and there kind of wasn't, which ended up being true. Do you think this might be a recurring problem with Xbox Game Studios, with everyone already knowing what almost every studio is working on? Maybe.
No. Because outside of the initiative and the rumour of Perfect Dark, and even then, that rumour is...
But it's an open secret.
Kind of maybe Perfect Dark, but also maybe not.
I mean, look at Fable.
Fable was an open secret, hence why it didn't surprise anyone. But were you surprised by Avowed?
Same with Perfect Dark though. Everyone is expecting something.
No one was expecting Avowed specifically.
No, they weren't.
Right?
Oh no, that's
no. Yeah, people were expecting something out of Obsidian.
Skyrim
because.
Something.
Yeah, because like I said on the last time, we talked, friggin' what's his Chris Anchovies, because I'm not gonna friggin' deign to say his actual name, friggin' got all salty on a gaming forum somewhere and started blabbing about Obsidian's next Skyrim-esque project, which turns out Josh Sawyer is not leading that project. That is a completely different guy. I can't remember what their name is, but Josh Sawyer is also on another smaller project at Obsidian that he's not talking about yet.
Yeah, he confirmed that. Yeah, there's even more.
Directing his own thing.
Can't wait to see what all these cool things that are coming to the fold are going to be.
But Avowed was spitefully leaked by Chris Avallone. So that happened like last year.
What a joke.
And then re-leaked by Zuge.
Yeah. Thanks, Zuge.
Yeah.
Well, because no one at the time when Avalon was saying those things on that, I can't remember what forum it was, but no one at the time thought anything of it because it was at the time when like Avalon was embroiled in that whole like debacle with Obsidian and stuff, and just like all he was doing was taking to Twitter and any place he could get to and just basically taking a dump on the company because he's like
just drama.
jealous that they got Microsoft money.
Sod it. I hate drama.
Yeah. Okay.
But no one thought anything of it. Like they thought he was just being a dick.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is a dick. So
But
what can you do?
Yeah.
To Twitter. So the first question we answered at the very top of the show, our competitor Randall Thor. So yeah, there was a shout out, a very nice shout out to us on the Xbox 2 podcast. I've never heard of the Xbox 2 podcast, but apparently their podcast,
I think it's new. Never heard of them.
I've never heard of them.
We're not bitter.
Yeah. And then I was tagged very early in the morning saying, "Hey, Xbox 2 is talking about you." I was like, "Oh, are they? What are they saying?" And then apparently they're big jerks that said they've never heard of me.
Mediocre.
And then Rand jumped onto Twitter and said, "Make sure you refer to Shpeshal Ed as mediocre Ed." And then John indulged him.
I did, because it's amusing to me. I am amused.
So yeah, the first question got answered. The real question by Heel Hall, with the L being a 1, and they have asked the question before. We know sports games will have annual installments forever. Not so sure about that. But if you could force one franchise to pump out a new sequel every year, what would it be? Mine would be Deus Ex. Yeah, I don't know about the sports things. I think eventually sports games will become platforms.
Yeah. Well,
It's inevitable. I think it's going to happen.
No, sports games like money and conditioning their players to buy the same thing every year. So who am I to judge?
No, but still.
If I could, I'd pick Ori. I'd just have Moon Studios just continually evolve and make that.
Do an Ori every year.
Oh, I'd love it. Just a new Ori. They're such a chill game for me to play. I absolutely adore them.
I'm trying to think of a game I'd want released every single year. Wow. God, that's a hard one. Figments, you pick one. I need to think about it.
Can we change his name back to Cairo?
Sorry.
What is a game, a franchise or a game you'd want made every year like a sports game?
None. What? Why would I want that? What?
That's the question, man. That's the question.
You got to roll with the punches, bro.
What is something that you'd love to be made every year?
Actually, I do have an answer for that. I want Guitar Hero back, Activision.
I want Guitar Hero back.
I want Guitar Hero back. I want my plastic instrument.
With my guitar.
I want my plastic instrument.
Worth shouting out, actually, very quickly. Firewolf, really nice chap. I interacted with him a bunch back in the day on Bungie.net and NeoGaf. He's joined the XboxEra forums. He put up a really, really great Rock Band OT.
Was that him?
Yeah, which is a pretty niche game at this point. But as our forum population increases, if you're into your Rock Band, it's probably going to be a really good place to discuss and plan your DLC purchases. But he's gone to town with that OT. It's really, really thorough, so it's worth a look if you are interested. Yeah.
So you want Guitar Hero?
I'd love to play Guitar Hero because you could make that really modern and fresh by just releasing like the next packs
new
and
music.
Stuff. Yeah, new music. But then arguably that's
DLC.
a platform. Yeah,
he's
it's not a new
saying
game.
a new game each year.
Yeah, okay. It's a tricky one. Maybe you could just pick
but
a band
Guitar Hero was already getting a new game each year when the at the height of the franchise,
which is why it drove it into the ground.
Yeah,
I've got Metallica.
But I would like
Guitar Hero Metallica. I love Metallica.
I love Guitar Hero 5. Guitar Hero 5 was my favorite.
2 and 3 for me.
Then the franchise died.
Which one was 5?
5 was it was the one after what was it? World of something?
World Tour.
World Tour. Yeah, it was the one
I've got 3. I've got 3 Legends of Rock and Metallica. They're the 2 I've got.
Yeah.
On 360.
No, Guitar Hero 5 to me was like one of my favorite games. I had it on the Wii too. Wow, holy crap.
What did I want?
That was a long time ago.
Every year. What do I want every year? God, I don't know. I don't know what I'd want made.
Power Stone,
to be honest.
Power Stone every year.
I guess I would take a new Killer Instinct every year.
Oh,
I might take a new Killer Instinct every year.
I thought you were going to say a new Streets of Rage every year.
No, maybe Killer Instinct or Street Fighter or... God, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because most of the stuff that I love is platform. So, like, you can keep adding to a fighting game. Rocket League just keeps updating. Like, I don't know. That's a really hard question. Really hard question. But, yeah. I don't know. We might zoom through these next questions, although they're only pretty short.
Yeah, what we got?
Ian Glenn asks, what does Mojang Studios rebrand mean? Will they develop new IPs now while continuing with Minecraft? I don't know. I think the rebrand was just the rebrand. I don't know if there's anything more to it. They've made other IP. They made Cobalt.
Yeah, I think they're just, they'll make whatever they want to make, really, but Minecraft is their bread and butter, and Minecraft Dungeons proves that you could take the IP and put a twist on it that would be phenomenally successful. So
we're not saying that they won't make new stuff, but I don't think the rebrand confirms anything one way or the other.
It's just a new logo. Just modernise.
I mean, maybe it's just a long overdue rebrand from after being acquired.
Yeah, I
think release the shackles of the past and move into the future.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
The next question from, I think this is pronounced Anorexic. Now, this is an indie dev. We mentioned a Creators Collection game a long time ago called Omega Rally Championship.
Awesome little title.
Yeah, really cool little game. Amazing driving engine.
Yeah.
And, man, Anorexic needs to partner up with... Get in touch with Blizzard, and I want you to remake Rock and Roll Racing because his driving engine would fit so well with Rock and Roll Racing. But anyway, Anorexic he's followed us on Twitter, which is really cool. Now he asks, though the asking price was ridiculous, do you think mixed reaction to the Xbox first party event has given MS more of an incentive to pick up Warner Brothers games?
I don't think it would play into it at that level. Personally, I think the question around Warner Brothers games would be more financial. It's not going to play into how things are going to affect the business. I think
taking on all that staff.
Yeah, and then the letting people go, because there is always going to be cuts in that kind of acquisition and merger.
Although it's looking like WB aren't going to sell the games division anyway. Hasn't there been a recent development where it appears like they're not going to?
I don't know. I think they were definitely, everyone was kicking the tires, but maybe the asking price was just too high for everybody.
And the thing is, I feel like Microsoft would prefer to pick and choose. Like they'd probably want Rocksteady and NetherRealm.
Yeah.
So they've got their KI studio, and they've got a third-person action studio. Yeah. Like they pick and choose to suit their needs, and I don't know if AT&T would want to do that to let them piecemeal it. But I don't think the reaction to the July show would affect that. Yeah, personally.
And I don't know how mixed the reaction was. I mean, mixed, maybe, but I don't know. I think a lot of it was more positive than negative. I think the biggest negative was probably the reception to
Halo's graphics.
Yeah.
Halo's graphics.
But hey, it gave us Craig, and Craig's a pretty cool guy by all accounts.
Craig, I love that 343 have just fully leaned into Craig. Like, and I feel like the fact that they jumped on that so quick is what made me think that Halo's graphics will be much better than what we saw there.
Yeah.
Like they like. You can say, oh, of course they were going to own it. But they owned it fast.
Yeah, they really did.
Sketch jumped on that so quickly, which makes me think that that demo is not indicative of what we're going to see in the final product.
I can't wait to see the final product.
Visual.
I cannot wait.
Now, the last question, we kind of really covered it. Me especially.
Yeah.
What long ago abandoned games or IPs... Yeah. Not only MS, do you want to see getting a remake, reimagination, or an all-new game? I would really like to see a new or reimagined Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis, and Grandia. Grandia was cool. I like Grandia on Dreamcast. I've been through mine extensively.
Yeah.
Power Stone, Maximo.
Ninja Gaiden, Mech Assault. brute force, obviously. No, I'm kidding. Not brute
Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah. Perfect Dark would be one,
Perfect Dark.
which hopefully is coming. So yeah, I think that it's a great question, and that's the wonderful thing about IPs is that there's always time. There's always a time and a place to bring something back, and Microsoft need to do more of it. They've got such a good wealth. I think I've said it before a million times. Freelancer on PC was so ahead of its time, and I'd love to see that world revisited, but it's a big project.
Put me in charge of Xbox Global Publishing, man. I would bring back so much cool stuff, and I'd do it on such a small budget too. And man,
oh dear. Well,
man,
I think that probably draws our community questions to a close.
And in turn, the podcast, I guess.
And in turn, yes, the episode 30 of the XboxEra Podcast
back to dwindles. A super long episode.
I know. It's a good 2.5 hours of fun. I've got a full day ahead of renovation and painting and getting everything ready. My kitchen arrives next week, along with my bathroom yesterday. Got to fit it all.
Well, it's funny. You're doing renos, and I've got everything in my house breaking down. My washing machine broke last week, so I had to replace that. Kitchen mixer started leaking, so I had to replace that. New
stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's very tiring. So it's Saturday right now when we're recording. I will try and have this up.
Yes, I've got to have some dinner. It's dinner time for me and my kids. I need to have coffee
and some breakfast.
My family are waiting to eat dinner. So, yeah.
So I can hear my powers just awoken and has stood up. I've just heard him move, shuffling through. So hopefully that means a coffee is going to be on the cards momentarily. So we'll take this opportunity to thank you, the XboxEra community, for a bumper week in terms of response to our little project.
Please jump on the forum.
Please, if you watch this podcast and you're listening to us, go head to the forums. It's forum.xboxera.com. Sign up. You don't need a paid email address. Come and take part in the conversation and help us build our positive, inclusive, free of concern, trolling and stupidity community as best we can. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Ciao for now.
Hey, everybody.